Lot tonight, architects of humanity like talk about the problem with school. And we all know that there's a problem with school. If you don't, well, you might be part of the problem. The main problem with modern school systems is a deep mismatch between rigid, outdated industrial structures and the real world needs of today's students. We see that school, even though it was indoctrinating from the beginning, in the 50s and 60s, people would graduate with actual basic skills. Charlotte Iserbyt, in the 80s, she was the head of education for the country under Reagan. And Reagan, of course, we know, plant, as always, all of them. Charlotte Iserbyt, had exposed how they were dumbing people down, the dumbing down of America. Matter of fact, that was her book. Other teachers, John Taylor Gatto, the father of homeschooling, John Holt, who was Grace Llewellyn, who wrote the Teenage Liberation Handbook, How to Quit School and Get a Real Life and Education. Classroom struggle, chronic underfunding, rising behavioral issues, and an overemphasis on memorization over practical skills. And when we think about that, we see that there's a problem with school. Seriously, Ragamuffin Vision, good to see you, man. The schooling system is meant to keep you ignorant and stupid. It cultivates that. Add in drug foods and propaganda on media, and then the other zombies that keep you in line or could try to. And it can weigh heavily upon a person's mind, especially a younger person. I mean, school was horrific when I think back to it. Yeah, there was a few days that were cool, but overall, I mean, it was not a good thing. I didn't even learn what plants were. We planted a corn, I remember, like in kindergarten or first grade, and that was it. It grew a little and then never saw it again. So, I mean, it's so sad what's happening to restrict somebody to a chair in an unnatural position for hours a day with other kids around toxic school items. That's another thing, too. If you ever check out the book, Slow Death by Rubber Duck, it talks about a lot of the toxins around people. But in the curriculums, right, the outdated curriculums, the rigid schedules, the early start times and long, uninterrupted sitting periods, they conflict with a natural child, adolescent sleep cycle. Those people would get tired. They'd have, some schools used to have nap time. I mean, why are the kids even there? They're inhaling stuff that, I mean, the mat, all of that stuff is not healthy. They're filled with chemicals. Very rarely, or if not ever, would you find a school free of that stuff. The tiles, I mean, the kids don't have a natural environment. It sets them up for the rigid behavior expectations of society. It suppresses creativity. Society doesn't want creativity. It wants uniform policies. It discourages individual expression. Any type of independent problem solving, to think of something yourself, to those trials of manhood that other cultures used to put us through. Many cultures used to put adolescent to teenage boys through trials of manhood. Females just blossom into womanhood, but they do need good father figures. And they need a sisterhood, which we've been denied those things. And that's why you see them pop up in different ways. Some people might say it's toxic. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity or toxic femininity. There's only toxic behavior. Again, the language is so important. If you understand how language can be used against you to brainwash you, to program you, you can realize how to protect yourself from it. When somebody says toxic masculinity, you let them know there's no such thing. There's toxic behavior, and it's embarrassing I have to teach you that. You might not want to add in the last part, depends on how the conversation goes, because, I mean, some people even if you teach them, they're so closed-minded, that it just man. But The Dumbing Down of America by Charlotte Iserbyt. I think that's The Dumbing Down of America. Okay, let me see. You know, she this automatic search. I think I think I think it was Carl Sagan. He wrote something on that. All right, Charlotte Iserbyt, The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America. And when I think about it, it's a book that many people should have. She has videos on YouTube that anybody can look into. And the book, the Deliberate Dumbing Down of America, former Reagan administration official Charlotte Iserbyt presents the facts on how the U.S. public school system was intentionally transformed. Mr. X, good to see you, man. And it's transformed over a century, like I was saying, in the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s. People actually got out of school with skills, basic skills. Now it's just, yeah, it's zombie city at this point. How you doing, man?
Good to see you, Max. Good to see you, man. Definitely great, important topic here. I mean, it's like, why are private schools? Why do they exist, and how is it they're able to charge so much money? These private schools, they're almost as expensive as colleges. That should tell you right there that the public school system isn't what it's claimed to be. The fact that private schools exist and they can charge all this money, that means there's a serious problem in public school. You know.
Yeah, yeah. It's John Taylor Gatto was a teacher for 30 years in the New York City public school trenches, he called it. Public
Mhm.
school trenches. And he was so right. He was so right about that. It just, yeah, it really, you look at the city. This guy who was teaching in Harlem on the day of 9/11, and you know, I could still see the programming. He got in trouble for telling kids not to go to college, and I think they tried to like
Mm.
take him out and of the teaching system, and he managed to get teaching back, but he couldn't teach in New York. I think he had to go to Massachusetts because the teachers union is really strong. But I mean, it just he saw how it was. And I remember him saying once, school is a cemetery for the mind. And I was like, wow, it's pretty deep. He saw it. And one time there was a teacher, he said that if a kid's brought in a snack like chips or something, she would take it. And he told one of the mothers, and he goes, look, I'm letting you know what's going on. And then they confronted the teacher, the principal, and then they told and said he was the one that told them. So it's like you can't tell zombies. You can't. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. You
Yeah.
can't. Yeah, it's got to be like, hey, you know what? You got to find another way to figure it out. Maybe film
And
it.
honestly, you can't. I don't know if I agree with this techniques because when you have a system like that, you have to look at think if you can't attack it head on. You got to kind of go through side doors in a way. You know what I'm saying? That's
Exactly.
not effective because you're going to get kicked out of the system. Once they recognize you're a problem, you're out of there. So you're not really going to make a change or a difference in people's lives. So you
Exactly.
have to kind of play the game and then go through the back door, basically, to advise people if you're trying to help kids, learn and everything.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that you could really do is try to get funding from people and open up a school or have like
Oh,
some
that
type of
too. Of
tutor.
course.
Yeah. Because you
Well,
could
that's
have
what
a
the
tutor.
rich do.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah.
wealthy, that's what they do.
Yeah. The
They have their
problem
own
with the schooling system is
private
that
schools. They give money, and
mm, the problem with the schooling system is that it's like a babysitting thing too. So people need it to have their kids washed. They're
sure,
censored content says, yeah, that goes for any system today. If you really want to make a change, you got to be very sneaky. Yeah, you do. When he told the lady,
You do.
and then she went and ratted him out, man, he said he got in a lot of trouble over that. And then after that, the thing with telling kids,
That's right.
college is like a scam, and a lady, another teacher had eventually got him
Yeah, you
reinstated,
should have
and
said that in
I could see it was messing with him, just society in the whole. And he has
mhm.
a master's in what do you have a master's in? I think it's math actually. And he actually taught as an assistant professor in Harvard like recently. We used to talk a few years ago, and uh, I remember he got a position there because of a business. It wasn't even because of his credentials. And I remember he told me that he goes, yeah, they're going to give him an assistant professor, like assistant teacher, for the professor, and that this was a few years ago. He goes, there was a mandate for the jab, and the guy that they were doing teaching like curriculums or something. It was some business, and he met one of the clients through that, and the guy was like, he goes, yeah, did you get a jab? And he was like, no. He goes, all right, don't worry about it. I'll get you a waiver. Easy as that.
Mm.
Just because somebody liked you, showing you that it was
Yeah,
just all, you already see the corruption. You see the corruption, and I
right,
think,
right. You got to see it first. I don't think he saw it initially. I don't think he understood
yeah,
it.
I think he was just. It can mess with you, man. It can really mess with you when
Yeah.
you think about just going to school. Grace Llewellyn was an English teacher, the one who wrote the Teenage Liberation Handbook, and she talked about a lot of stuff on how when she was a sixth grade English teacher, she would go into class one day and be a tyrant, the other day be nice. It was just like any mood she was in, that's what the kids would be taught in, and she knew that that wasn't good. And I think she started
No,
back to school camp in uh in Oregon. I tried to call her, but I couldn't get in touch with her years ago. I bought the book like 20 years ago. It was amazing. David Wolf and the Raw Food guys had a seminar in Manhattan, and I think it was oh man, I think it was '03 because I met him in '03 at the seminar, then '04, and I think maybe even '05, or it might have been twice in '04. And he was, a raw foodist. I read his book, The Raw Food Diet, and they were definitely, like want, trying to push the raw everything, nothing cooked. And I tried it for a few days. It's hard, man. It is hard. I mean, you already know the food they sell.
mhm.
I mean, you could try to eat
Yeah,
raw. I know some guys used they went raw for a while, but it's like it's if I knew some raw food chefs actually because you know it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. Fruits and vegetables, okay, but then getting into like nuts, would be uh you'd have to sprout them. So like, you'd want to get them raw. You can get them raw. You can get them raw. But yeah, it's a whole I think that there's some I don't think one diet is fits a person for their whole life. I think
I
throughout your
agree.
life,
I mean, like
yeah,
I could do that diet right now because I have digestive issues. Like I have to actually take
yeah,
shakes and light
yeah.
food someday because I had issues. I have the blockages in my system. You know?
Yeah, different parts of your life, you're gonna eat different things.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and it's like, I noticed when with the vegan, vegetarian, it got very cultish. I would go to like speeches and seminars in
Mm.
Manhattan, and yeah, they got very cultish. It was but it's definitely good. Um it definitely is it's good for the health to an extent. But I
Yeah.
do think, now I do eat meat. I went like from the late '90s to about a good like maybe 2007, maybe 2000, yeah, around there. Started eating cheese again around there, and then I was all on and off it. I mean, I have to admit, some of these foods, the processed foods are like drugs.
They are.
Yeah, I saw Conscious trying to jump on, but yeah, if you put the other profile, I'll pull you on. So I know she knows a lot about this subject, man.
I've cut down my sugars a lot, and that's been dramatic for me. I've been
Man,
definitely into weight management, but it's just everything's
you
gotten
feel
easier.
you feel better too, right?
You do, yeah. I got the sugar withdrawals, but I was able to take some salt, some potassium, some
Mhm.
magnesium, and it went away pretty quickly. And but I feel a lot better now, and it's just, I think this is permanent. I'll be low. I mean, basically, it's lowering your carbohydrates and just basically no sugar almost, but very low, under like 30 grams each. You know what I mean? Well under that. And,
So you
um,
don't need any carbs.
no, well, I do still eat carbs, but like say I'll have something, but with protein in it, with fiber in it to offset
Yeah.
it. Like net carbs will be very low.
So
Um,
nothing with added sugar.
no, no, have some
That's
cottage
good. That
cheese,
that is so good. Wow.
eggs, meats. Even then, I
Yeah.
have to cut down. I can't take too much meat because of I have
Do you
blockages
eat
in my.
do you get organic eggs or egg?
I try to get organic actually because they're
Oh,
nice and brown. They taste
yeah,
better. I
yeah.
notice a big difference in the organic.
That's
Big,
good.
the
Glad.
cage free, organic,
Yeah.
nice and brown. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
And
No, that's so good, man, that you're doing that because they passed the arsenic thing where you could, they feed them arsenic if you don't get the organic, and it comes
mhm,
through the egg, yeah,
I
and the
could believe
chicken.
it. Yeah, I'd
So
rather
yeah,
pay more for like good eggs. I'd rather pay
yeah.
more. If there was
Well,
a
do
farmer's market around here, I'd go there
okay.
probably.
Yeah, farmers market is a good place to. Yeah, so it's like, yeah, already. So that's like, I
I mean,
think
you can
con.
see the difference in the egg. You can actually see it. So it's like, let
Yes.
alone, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
powerful, the difference. Yeah.
Exactly.
The
Yeah. That.
yolk is so much more yellow or orangey color. It's
Yep.
like darker and it
Yep.
just looks richer and fuller. It's like,
It's
it's
true.
compared to these white eggs that just look processed. It's like, it's not even a no-brainer at that point,
Yeah.
you
They're
know?
very. Yeah. It's very. That whole system. And another thing that's weird is, and they do it with the eggs. In the organic, you might see a slight difference in size, but in reality, eggs are usually a little bit. They're not all going to be fully uniform. Which is okay. Um, but I noticed they do that with the eggs too, the grade A. Which, hey, if it's organic, I mean, I'm all for it. I think Conscious tried to jump on. I don't know if she's trying to get the other account. Whenever she's ready, I'll pull her on because I know she knows a lot about everything, the diet, the eating, the
But I also I heard, no, I was just gonna say sugar actually feeds the bad bacteria. Your gut, your parasites and that gut bacteria feed off of sugar. So if you can deprive it of sugar, you can eliminate a lot of bad gut bacteria.
yes, yeah, the yeast and all of that, yeah, feed on that stuff. So if you eliminate that, man, that is so good.
It is.
I tell you, man, the sugar is, yeah, that's definitely a tough one. Hey, what's up, Conscious?
Hey, sorry that took so long. Oh gosh, having a
Good to see
lot of
you,
technical.
conscious.
Hey, what's going on? I'm so
Mhm.
late to the conversation. I wanted to jump in so many times, but um, well, the first one was like with Charlotte Iserby or Iserbit or whatever. It's
Uh-huh.
also I just
Yeah.
wanted to mention that like she also like I think because she kind of snuck under the radar. Like they like her dad and her grandfather are both like stuff, and there's so much fat in it though, which is not good. So that's why David Wolf doesn't really look that healthy. Um, and I just actually started refollowing him on Telegram, and he's got some really good memes and stuff. But he's like, he wants to sell all of his supplements, and but I think he's a pretty good person. It's just that he wants to sell his supplements and live like a off grid king. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. He's definitely a PR man. I mean, he was cool. When I went to the seminar in 2003, I went with my friend, Dr. Lodi, really cool guy. And we hung out. He was the one that told me about it. It was $150 for 2 days. And it was a couple hours. He talked for a bit. Tom went the first day, and then I went by myself the second day. And a few people, they had guys, this couple, they were selling a raw raw sprouted almond. They were delicious. Like they would season them really good. And he was telling me he was getting them from Italy, and then he was going through so much with the food stuff. This guy, I forgot his name. I mean, the way they tried to block him from trying to sell natural stuff was just crazy. But Wolf, yeah, Dave was he was cool. I spoke with him for a little.
Who was trying to block who from selling the healthy food?
This guy, I think his name was Seth. They had a raw almond company, him and his brother, and he was there with his girlfriend, and he was telling me, he goes, "Hey, who's that doctor you came with yesterday?" I said, "That's Tom." I said, "They couldn't come today," and we were talking. So he was, interested in learning more. I said, "Yeah, you got to study medicine." Even, Lodi told me, he goes, "Look, man, you got to study." He goes, "You got to know about medicine." He used to tell me so much stuff about doctors, man. And he was the only one that knew what 9/11 was, knew what was up right away. And he moved. He left the United States. He actually has a page with, shoot, I think he's like 700,000 followers.
Dr. Lodi?
Yeah, Dr. Lodi. If you look on Facebook.
Lodi?
Lodi, Thomas Lodi. Yeah, Tom was so cool, man. Yeah.
So, but the almond people, like, what did they sprout them and put all
he
those
told me,
spices on them?
He said he was getting these raw almonds from Italy. So they were shipped over, and it was, this is '03. So, it was cost efficient, whatever. And I was like, yeah, man, it was expensive. You'd get like a little bag of almonds.
They were so good though, right?
Oh, they were so good. They were like $7-8, but the bag was like maybe, let me see.
An airline pack? I was kidding.
Not sort of like, I'm trying to think what food in the store, like, how a regular pack of nuts are, but I would say about half that. You weren't getting a lot. You were getting like maybe
like an M&M's bag.
Large. Like 25, 30 almonds, say even 30 almonds. So 30 almonds, he'd have like raw cheese flavor. They would, ground up like walnuts and mix it with other herbs, and it would taste a little cheesy, but it would be all raw vegan. They had some Italian type with spices and rosemary, and it was really good. Like the almonds would be kind of like, you would see them kind of little puffed up, but to be split in the middle, like you could, and they would dry. They were
like crunchy and light. They were so good.
Yes, Seth. Seth or the Seth brothers. Tara Jackson, good to see you. She says, Architects and chat, what's up, homies? Always a pleasure. Thank you, Tara. I appreciate that. 10 jewels floating out to you. Thank you, Tara. Really appreciate the support. The Seth brothers, I don't know if they're still in business, but he told me they were getting them, and there was something about they needed to be steamed, and when they bring them through customs, and he goes, every time it's just another hurdle that they want me to jump through. And then they started raising something on him, and he goes, yeah, it's getting hard. He goes, I'm looking for other places to get them from. He goes, the ones in America, there's like a company that controls all of the almonds. He was really, yeah. Thank you, Tara. She says, you guys are awesome. You're awesome too.
Tara's awesome. She's always like bringing really good information and being so supportive.
So cool. Yeah, it's so cool.
Well, I'm surprised that they would steam those almonds though, because it's supposed to be raw. I mean, I guess
the American. I think it was the American, because he was telling me, he goes, the reason he wasn't buying it from the American companies is they steam it, and there's something with the law. And he goes, it's like a almond mafia. Like he was telling me, he goes, look, man, he goes, there's an almond company that owns everything. And he goes, you can get organic, he said, but you can't get fully raw. And they'll either steam it or there'll be like something. I remember cashews aren't fully raw too. They have like some type of hydrogenization or something like that they were talking about, even though they sell them as raw, and I've eaten, it's as raw as you get. But cashews, I noticed, aren't the best, even though they do have magnesium. They have cashews are the fruit that's taken off of is very, very dangerous. I don't know if you've ever looked it up. It can cause like severe rashes and stuff. The cashew is like the nut on top of the fruit. If you ever, cashew production.
Yeah, you have to steam those in order to get them out of the shell, I think.
Yeah. So you're not gonna, and they used a hydrogenation technique where they exposed it, because I thought I was getting raw cashews, but I noticed like some nuts, yeah, moderation. I would say, like you were saying, it could be a lot of fat, but that seminar had him. It had like a whole raw food crew that was there. It was like downtown on Prince, between Prince and Spring Street, downtown Manhattan, and
Right.
yeah,
Do you ever go to that? Do you ever go to that raw food restaurant on 7th or 8th Street called Quintessence?
yes, yes. Is that the one where the guy subsidized it? Like, yes, he's a real estate guy or something.
I don't know, but I just remember the owner got in trouble because I think he was a flasher on the subway or something.
Get at, oh, wow, wow.
There's a lot of drama with the raw food, like Pure Food.
Oh,
and
there
Wine.
is, yeah, a
That
lot
woman,
of drama.
the Pure Food and Wine. You saw that documentary, right?
Pure Food and Wine? No.
It's called Bad Vegan. You got to see the Netflix documentary on Bad Vegan. She's the owner of Sarma Kamalis or something. She's like, it's very controversial because she kind of fell into a cult. This guy totally scammed her out of like millions of dollars, and she was like taking it from like paying her workers. Like it was a whole big scandal, but like the poor woman, I don't know. I think it's part of the show because I think, I mean, how could a woman? I don't know. It just seems like it's kind of made up for drama, like on the world stage.
Yeah.
She was like supposedly like Alec Baldwin was flirting with her, but she didn't date him. It's like, oh yeah, but you dated this loser that's like trying to like rope you into some like secret society. She thought she was like gonna enter some like special secret society or something and like get all this money once she like does everything right. This is really weird, but you should check it out because the food there was so delicious. I mean, it was expensive, but that place was really good. Did you eat there? The lasagna and stuff?
I ate the raw food, the raw pepper, the red pepper soup.
Red pepper soup, right?
Yeah, they
One
had the
lucky
raw.
duck. Yeah, I don't know if I've had that.
No, I think there was one on Madison. I'm thinking it was so long ago. It was like around '05, I think. Tara says Bad Vegan was pretty. I think I remember hearing Bad Vegan. Yeah, thank you, Tara. I appreciate the support.
Yeah, she was pretty, and that was a pretty awesome documentary. I mean, it's very drama, but I definitely recommend.
So what's it called again? Food and Wine?
Pure Food and Wine. It was on it was like on, it was in the lower, maybe like not East Village, but a little bit higher. Like I don't know if it's called Flatiron. I don't really know the names of those places, but I think it was like 14th. It was definitely like really downtown. It wasn't like Lower East Side, but I think it was like 12th or something like that. I'm not sure, but yeah, the food was so delicious. Oh my god, it was so good.
Wow.
And so hopefully she'll do something again. But she learned from another guy. I don't think she was the original chef. She married this other guy, and he's got a big franchise in California still and stuff. And because they would make all those really good like all the nut foods, like making like cheese from nuts and dehydrating them and making all these great consistencies. But again, it's like high fat. And like if you look at David Wolf, he did like a video I saw today on Telegram. He is looking bloated and big, and it's because of the high fat. And and he'll
really, and he's not a tall guy. Dave's got to be like maybe 5'8", 5'9" at the most. Yeah, he's not a tall guy. He's I mean, he was cool when I met him. I mean, I met him when we both have. I have like black hair or dark brown. He has like brownish hair, and he yeah. Now both of us, we grew older. It's just like when I at the thing, he was cool. There was a lot of people. She had the nerve to eat pizza while on the run. Wow.
I don't remember that. That's funny. I don't remember that. No, I think she was ordering it for him. I don't think she was eating it. I don't know. I followed her for a minute on Instagram after, but I think it's like part of the show.
I remember hearing about that. They say Quintessence is permanently closed. I looked it up. It was because I thought it was like there was one on Madison Avenue, but I think it was different. But I have been to Quintessence too. East Village.
Madison Avenue. We're on Madison Avenue. Like how far?
I remember there was a small park, and that's what I'm thinking. I don't know if there's a park near Madison Avenue, but it was. I remember it was walking distance, and it was just so long ago. But I do remember they had talks there. That's when they had a guy named Ron Van, who claimed to like never be sick in his life. He could have been full of it, but he was like a biker. Clean type of biker, and he gave a speech there. I remember they had like a lot of people coming giving speeches, and it was sort of like a lunch line raw food place. It was very clean, and I remember people saying that the owner was, he was into real estate, like he had money. I forgot the name of it. I mean, I'm guessing it could have been on Madison, but I'm wondering if it was Quintessence. I'm just thinking if it was.
Quintessence was definitely on like Lower East Side, like 8th and like.
I think this was more
First.
like middle or lower middle Manhattan, where this was.
Right.
I would say mid.
I remember like when I worked at the Hampton Jitney, I loved that job because I got to read on the bus like each way, like an hour and a half, and then and then be able to use go into the city anytime I wanted to. But I would also go to the organic veggie restaurants. And did you ever go to Blanche's Organic Takeaway? It was like organic, but they also had macro, like they had fish and stuff like that, like organic fish, but they did it mostly macro.
No, I didn't.
No, that place.
Yeah, that one I didn't hear. I remember going to a few. They weren't fully raw, but I remember one on like First or Second Avenue. I'm thinking like around 12th Street, maybe 12th or maybe even like in the 20s. It was so many like in that early 2000s, so many people popped up. Like when I met David in 2003, and he did the lecture, hung out. I met the other people. That's where I met Seth. I didn't meet his brother, and he told me this stuff. And then I was walking on Union, I think 14th Street by Union Square, I think it is, at night. It was like 7 p.m. at night, and I ran into him again. And I was like, holy smokes. I was like, Dave, what's up? And we started talking for like maybe an hour, and he was really cool. And then I met him again. He threw a raw chocolate party at Spirit New York in West 27th, I think. It was like an Irish mob club or something. And it was really cool, actually. And that was the last time I seen him. Yeah. I guess, he wasn't slim, but he definitely wasn't overweight when I met him. But I could see like his body type. I could see, he could gain weight.
Well,
easier.
when I met him, I mean, it was a little bit before that when I met him, but he was, I mean, when you're short, he's like muscular, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
he's probably like 56 or 58 now. Like he's just, you can just tell he's like, I mean, he probably doesn't do any strength training, but even if he did, I don't think he could lose that bloat and that fat, because the reason why people are overweight looking, even, children and stuff, it's like not necessarily because they pig out and eat more than everybody else. It's because their liver is congested and saturated and stagnant, from what they inherited from their parents or from environmental toxins or from, what they've ate and the poisons that are in the schools, like whatever. Like, so when people's livers are messed up, the body holds and suspends fat and poisons. I mean, the poisons it's suspended in fat and like water weight, because your body's trying to protect the organs.
So they get the bloat.
Yeah, like, and water weight. Yeah, water weight and even fat. Like fat, like your liver actually will take the stored fat things in the liver and then like put poisons inside of them and like release them out to the body, and they're suspended away from you, kind of protected. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, it's people aren't going to know this probably for another 20 to 40 years, like until so many hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people, and like they won't be able to hide it anymore, that his information is the truth about how the body works and everything. But people get results, like Mr. X is getting results from like eating a cleaner diet. He probably eats way less processed foods. He's not eating fat and sugars together. I mean, you can eat all the glucose and sugar and potatoes you want and not gain weight if you don't eat fat with it and you don't have a lot of poisons in your liver. Like you just won't. But if you do have a lot of poisons in your liver, or if you eat them together, you can, get
Well,
fat.
milk thistle will help that, like with the liver detoxing.
What are you saying? Doing liver detox will help bloating? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like milk thistle. I've heard that milk thistle, like the extract. I had bought that
Oh
a
yeah.
while ago.
I mean, I know that it's an herb that medical medium or Anthony William like recommends for like helping the liver. I mean, there's a list of like a lot of herbs will help the liver. But the best thing that people could do without even taking anything is to like lower your fats and just try to eat your, if you're gonna have fats, like have it with vegetables. Like if you're gonna have meat and fish, like have that with a lot of greens, and like, and don't, and like, if you need to
Mhm.
use olive oil, use it in that meal, like at night, but don't
Mhm.
mix like potatoes with it or a bunch of rice, because that together, that causes like the diabetes, like the type 2 diabetes or whatever. It's just like the fat blocks sugar and it blocks nutrients from getting into the cells, which our
Mhm.
body really wants. But like, no one's gonna believe me until they're sick and then get better because they've used the information. Do you know what I mean? Like no one's gonna believe me just because I said it. I mean, some people might if they have good intuition, and you know what I mean, and they start looking into the other people's success stories with it. But
Mhm.
because it's not easy. Like when you do medical medium, you have to be kind of committed. Like you have to make big changes in your lifestyle and be strict with it. But but then you actually get better, and like that's why people do it, because people are fighting for their lives. But a lot of people are just like not willing to do it just for some symptoms. You're like, oh, whatever, we all die. Oh, I'm just getting old. This is what it is. It's like, all right, well, that's not how I work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I want to have a high quality of life for the entire time I'm here. So that's why I'm working hard right now. But I just have a few things against me because the environment that I've been in for the last 3.5 years has poisons in it, and I have to, get out of here so I can really let my liver, cleanse out, and then,
Yeah.
whatever.
They
But
say each organ deals with certain emotions. They say the liver deals with anger. Like if you have liver problems, I remember seeing something, I forgot the chart, but it was like a correlation thing saying that, you know, uh, like lungs are linked to grief, liver, anger, they had like a few others I forgot. But yeah, it's really fascinating. So it's like you can see, like, I don't know if you've heard of iridology when they look at your iris and it could tell certain things. uh you can see certain, like a ring around certain parts, different colors, different things can tell you what's wrong in the body. Timbo, good to see you. Says Dr. Nick Delgado backs her up regarding the fats. Oh wow. Yeah, conscious knows what's up. I got to give it to her. I mean, I know a little bit about diet. I mean, I've met all of these. Before I met David, I used to listen to Gary Null. And, as a matter of fact, he came to a seminar a couple of months ago. He's got to be in his 70s, but I used to listen to the Gary Null show on WBAI 99.5 FM. I started listening to them in the late 90s. And then it was on his show I heard about a dentist in Glen Cove in Nassau County that removed the mercury. And when I met him, he goes, look, you should have a complimentary physician. And he introduced me to Dr. Lodi. Yeah, Tom,
nice.
when he started Facebook, he had like 45,000 or something. I checked him the other day. He had like 700,000. I was like, holy smokes. And, he'd married a woman from Japan. He was like, when I met him, he had to be in his 50s. I was in my 30s, my early 30s. And he used to tell me so much good things about Japan. Like, the students clean their own school. They have like a moral class on why you should, be kind, why you shouldn't steal. Like I remember he would criticize the American school system so much and show how Japan was, the difference with it. And, he had two kids, two sons, and yeah, he's a cool dude, man. I mean, real cool, like a real person. Some of his videos that he had were hilarious. He would he would criticize doctors with chemotherapy and all that. He said, you come in there sick, and the doctor's like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to cut you up. So he cuts up the tumor, whatever, and he goes, now we're gonna give you some poison, and then we're gonna irradiate you. He would just, the way he would say it, just like Gary Null kind of. And Gary Null's a little strict. He can get very anally retentive. I've noticed that when I met him the last time, and he, but his research is on point. I'll give him that. And he was the one. That's how I met the dentist. Then I met him, Tom Lodi. Then I met a few other people. I used to go to the New Life Expo a few times in Manhattan. I don't know if you've ever been there.
I went to the Conscious Life Expo in LA, but I think I went to something. Maybe it was like these stuff was kind of like. I think there was something called like New Life Expo, and there was like a magazine. I remember seeing like Deepak
Yes,
Chopra on the
exactly.
cover.
They have it twice. They used to have it twice a year since like the 90s, and they'd have it in Hotel New Yorker right across the street from Penn Station. So it was
Right.
easy to get there. And then Mark Becker would run it. And then recently, I think the last few years, he was saying it cost him 50,000 to rent the hotel, the parts of the hotel for the weekend, and he would have three levels. It wasn't like he was renting the whole hotel, but he was renting like areas where people could put their boots and the rooms where people could do lectures. I actually met Dr. Hal Huggins there in '04, the dentist that wrote It's All in Your Head about the mercury fillings. And really cool guy. He was in his 70s, I think, back then. And
What's the name of the guy that I looked in the chat and I couldn't see the thing about Delgado? His name is Nick Delgado. So I was writing down.
yeah, he said
Dr.
Dr. Nick Delgado backs you up on recording the fats.
Yeah, I just wanted to write down Dr. Lodi and Nick Delgado to look at them later. I know Dr.
Yeah.
Doug Graham also follows a similar program. I think he kind of copied him on Medical Medium. I'm not sure, but he's got a book called 80-10-10.
If you look at Tom Lodi on Facebook, it is funny because he's very deep with the fasting, saying how fasting cures like many ailments. It starts to eat up the plaque in the arteries. It cleans the body. Doesn't let the tumors feed, because he worked with a lot at his clinic in Glen Cove. He used to work with a lot of cancer patients, and we would sit there and talk. And this is like, I met him in '01 in May. And then he left New York in '05, I think. He went to Arizona, and he was telling me, he goes, man, this is ground zero. And I said, I got to stay here for family. And he opened up the Oasis of Healing in Arizona. And then he moved to Thailand. I think he's in Thailand for the last, who knows, 10 years maybe.
Well, yeah. I disagree with him about the fasting, only because, a lot of healthy people can do fasting to get rid of certain symptoms, because it's kind of like adrenaline. It's kind of like a steroid.
40 hours, man. I was dizzy. I was messed up. I tried,
because you were starving yourself of glucose.
I was like,
every organ needs glucose, and if you don't have strong adrenals, you're fucked.
And I felt nauseous.
Yeah. So it's. It works for some people if you're healthy enough. Usually guys can do it, but since you had some health issues with like whatever poisonings that you dealt with the lungs, in New York City, or whatever it could be in construction.
Man, the air. Everybody that comes here says the same. They're like, man, they feel the air right away. It's so messed up.
I think it's cumulative too with the work that you've done in construction, because you may not notice it right after, but it's cumulative. And if you're eating fat every meal, like most people do, your lungs can't get rid of that stuff, because your liver is constantly trying to get rid of all the fat you're eating every day, all day long.
Yeah. And then the trails, the sky.
Yeah, there's tons of poisons everywhere, but like, it all adds up. It's not just like one thing, but so when he talks about fasting is basically you're running on adrenaline until your adrenals run out. And like when you run on adrenaline, it's very acidic, because like I noticed it personally, because as soon as I don't have any backup storage glycogen reserves in my brain or my liver, which medical medium says everybody has, but if they start burning all the adrenaline out and not eating enough food, then they burn out all the glycogen reserves, and then you're running on nothing. So then you're only running on adrenaline, then whenever you run out of food and glucose that you need, and then your body gets acidic. You get that's what burns out your hydrochloric acid in your gut, and then you can't digest things well. So it's like a vicious cycle. Like adrenaline, it's great. It's great for a lot of things, but we abuse it, unfortunately. And it's hard to keep, it's hard to like eat all the food that you need to like avoid it. But someone like me, it's like I feel it every time it happens. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If I don't eat enough, like my stomach will not just get hungry; it'll start burning. And it sucks. But
Tom was always hardcore. When I met him, he convinced me to do a 5-day juice fast, and it was tough. And it was just, you take 3 apples, a slice of lime, you drink that, and you do it for 5 days, and then on the last day you drink like magnesium citrate, with olive oil, and then you lay down on
Oh
your
my
right.
God, that's terrible. I'm
Yeah, and
sorry.
he was
That's
saying,
so terrible. I'm sorry.
and he goes, lift your right knee up to your chest, lay on your right side, and that allows it opens up like I think a bile duct and allows the magnesium citrate to seep into like the honeycomb structure of the liver, and then or the gallbladder or something, and then you get like a bowel movement, and you can see like little what looks to be like peas, and
Yeah,
the
that's just the globules of oil that your body is getting rid of with some other stuff that was in you. That's what medical medium says. It's like your body. I mean, your liver's number one job is to get rid of the fat and the oil. I mean, he's just very misled because people get confused when you feel good in the body after eating high fat or meat or like energized. It's just
Mhm.
adrenaline. It's not because it's like taking drugs. It's like
Yeah, you got to check the
no.
page. Yeah, you might be able to bring some light to it because
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, I think he probably hurt your health. Like
Yeah.
he lowered your health because you were following his antics. I mean, that's what medical medium warns about. There's all
No,
these people.
actually, I kind of when I did the juice fast, I was pretty good because I did that back in like
But
2002.
do you have juice all day long or just 3 apples with lime?
I had juice like I would make. I think it was a quart of juice for the day.
I mean, that's insane. That is insane. He basically lowered your health. I'm sorry to say. It's
Wow.
unfortunate. A lot of people who are medical medium have been damaged by a lot of because everybody's always just throwing guesses and like everyone's just like guessing because nobody really knows
You
why
gotta,
anyone's.
yeah. If you look at his page, maybe you could like,
Yeah, I'll check it
mention,
out. But I mean, there's probably he
yeah, you
probably
let him know,
just
like,
he
look,
he
that's,
probably you mean let him know?
yeah, yeah, like, be like, look,
Yeah, I will.
you know,
I mean, I'm pretty
if you
vocal
look
when I
at,
see
I
what's
think
wrong.
his recent videos, I haven't checked them like recent, but a couple of months ago.
There's probably reasons why he's in Thailand and Asia, not just because America is like messed up with health. Like he probably hurt a lot of people, just like people get hurt with like ayahuasca or like bufo or
Wow.
different drugs. You know what I mean? He probably left because he had to, and he could also be a pervert. You know what I mean? Whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm just I'm
Well,
just saying like he was like literally touting to everybody these guys. He's like, I mean, he would literally hurt your health. It's like really sad, but he definitely hurt you.
yeah, I mean, definitely. Joey, what's up? He says, keep speaking the real stuff. We gotta heal. Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's open minded, so you might be able to, you know, he might take some advice or explain certain things, from a different perspective. I
I
mean,
mean I would like to tell David Wolf the same thing, but I don't know if because when people like make so much money and their ego is so stuck, like you've mentioned it before, like when people have all their money on one horse their whole life, like their ego is so big they're never gonna like turn around and say, oh, I actually made a mistake and I learned something, in
yeah,
my
it's very
50s.
rare.
Yeah, it's very rare. But
Very.
I have hope. But you can't really talk to David because he's got like how many millions of followers and
Well, he's
you know,
got like 10 or 11 million on Facebook, but people started to see that. I mean, he went overboard on just selling. Every time it was some type of item he's selling,
right,
whether
right.
it's the camel or, some type of, now he's selling some black liquid. I don't know, some type of resin. Looks like a black resinous liquid.
Oh,
Some,
like oh yeah, that stuff is so bad. I was taking it for a while. It's like that black, like fulvic,
yeah, and I didn't know,
humic acid. It's horrible. I forgot the
everybody
name of
was
it.
just, yeah, lighting them up.
Shilajit. Is it a form of shilajit?
I think that's it. Yep, that
Oh
that is
God.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, there's all these like traps and trends that they're doing just because like it's basically for like the not so sick people can take it and be okay. That's what medical medium always says. But it's like
Mhm.
with the people that have been like hurt and sick for a while, it's like these kind of like traps and whatever
Yeah,
bullshit like hurts
you
people.
got to know the level of a person because this girl Heidi that I knew, I remember telling her when I got the mercury fillings removed, she was like, "Oh, her sensitivity is different," and because she was the one that hit me to the New Life Expo in Manhattan, I think in '03.
Well, and
And
also how many cavities? I mean, how many fillings did you take out at once? Because medical
oh,
medium
you
warns.
could only do. That's when I read the book. It's all in your head by Hal Huggins, and then
You did a couple at a
they were
time.
saying you got to take out it by quadrants.
Yeah.
So it's either the bottom left, bottom right, upper right, and they would take. There's a meter. They would check the current on the fillings, so they would take them out according to the current. And then one doctor was saying that you have to recheck it because the current can changes, because with people with mercury filling, sometimes back in the day, it was known that they could like tune into radio stations.
Right.
Yeah, through the metal in your mouth. And Hal Huggins really brought to light how the silver fillings, the mercury, they're mistaken for silver, but they're amalgam fillings, mercury
Right.
mixed with, other silver as well, mercury and silver mixed. But
Right.
they constantly leach off the, when I met the doctor in Glen Cove, I met him through hearing Gary Null recommend him, and he wasn't the best dentist, but because he was like, I could see he was one of those doctors that was into like this Indian guru. He had the picture of him, and I remember one time he was telling me like, "Look, man, you can like just use your mind." And like he was trying to like talk me out of it actually, and he never like took him out. I had to go to a different dentist. And
That's crazy.
yeah, and I was gonna talk to Gary Null about it, but it was just a pain in the neck to go to Manhattan to see him and say, "Look, I was listening to your show." But then when Doric, that was the name of the other guy, the dentist, he introduced me to Lodi, and me and Lodi just became friends. We were both vegan, and we started talking about David Icke. He was into all of that stuff. So I had to go, "Yeah, man, I've read something about David Icke." He goes, "You got to read David Icke, man," and all of this. And we just became cool. I would go to the shop, to the clinic, hang out, and then we go to Manhattan together. I remember we went to the New Life Expo. We'd meet up. He'd have a couple patients with him, and he was just a regular person, like really.
What kind of doctor was he?
He's a medical doctor.
Yeah, but like what kind? Like
a general practitioner.
General practitioner.
Yeah. So he was, he knew about other stuff. Like he would, if it was a specialist, he knew, okay, look, you got to go to an eye doctor. You got to go to this, so he would also work in oncology because a lot of people would come there when they had cancer and they didn't want to go to Sloan and Kettering, for the chemotherapy. So
Right.
he would tell them, look, you got to just go, you got to starve it. So you're eating just salad, raw stuff, and you're getting like, when I met him, I was getting the intravenous vitamin C.
That's really good.
Yeah, I was getting the intravenous hydrogen peroxide, which they don't do anymore. And I remember getting that, and he was telling me, he goes, "Yeah, you can't do them like within the same week because they'll fight each other. So one week if you do the hydrogen peroxide, next week." I remember, I mean, he really, like, from what I saw, he was a helpful person. And when I took the hydrogen peroxide intravenous, you got to take it slow for like an hour and a half. I felt like the bubbling, like I definitely dropped my face, my mouth, and it was cleaning. It was like
it is, but it's not so I mean, it kills a lot of good bacteria in your body, so that probably hurt you too. I mean, I've done it. I've ingested some, food grade.
No, if you ingest it, it's different. If you do the intravenous, it's a whole different because it kills off the pathogens.
But you don't think it kills off any other healthy bacteria that we've been working
No,
on?
it won't kill off the I got to look it up again, but Dr. William Campbell, I have his book, Hydrogen Peroxide, The Medical Miracle. And he was saying that he was doing it like, I mean, just he had a patient that he put it into her carotid artery, the intravenous, because he would go to certain parts of the body and I got to look for the book. I think I still got it. He reported some very, very astonishing stuff. Just like Hal Huggins said that people, Space Monkey, good to see, says in good cells, but I like peroxide as toothpaste too. Yeah, I hear that if you use peroxide with baking soda, that's supposedly a good toothpaste remedy. But
yeah, I use that too. But internally, it's just not.
You got to be careful. Like orally, you got to be careful.
You can. I know people have cured themselves from really serious stuff with it, but like my friend, she's a raw foodist, or actually I think she steams some vegetables now. But her boyfriend now is like a total hydrogen peroxide freak, and he's like our age. I mean, he looked like old. Like he looked like 65.
Yeah, you can't do it a lot. You can't, like Tom used to tell me, he goes, you got to be real careful with it. And now they don't do it. Like there's doctors that the laws changed.
Yeah, because it's harmful. And I'm
Well,
sorry, but like vitamin C and hydrogen peroxide don't cancel each other out. Vitamin
no,
C
they will.
boosts
No,
your,
no, they'll fight each
boosts
other.
your
They
immune
won't cancel each
system.
other out. They'll fight each other. So,
Well, it boosts it. Vitamin C boosts your immune system. It doesn't
well, it
fight against
also
it.
vitamin C was the thing they used because Gary Nuller did a thing. He said when painters of the naval ships in the 50s and 60s got lead poisoning, they used high doses of vitamin C to get that lead out. So,
Yeah,
you
vitamin
know,
C will help you do like so many things. I mean,
yeah,
medical
chelation as
medium
well. Like
really
they have
helps.
chelation, but the different thing with chelation is that it can grab it from one part and it could drop off in another part of the body. Usually they grab it out and you urinate it out and stuff. So
What
when
are you
I'm
talking about? Grabbing what out?
grabbing toxins and stuff out,
Metals.
yeah,
Right.
with chelation, like usually they do chelation for certain therapies. So you had the chelation IV, you had the vitamin C IV, you had the hydrogen peroxide IV. And I
And
remember
what were you taking all these for?
I
Like
was
what?
taking them like when I met him, I go, look, first it was I go, okay, I was taking it just to be more healthy because I was already healthy. And I go, look, I was, he worked with Gary Null and all of that. And he goes, yeah, he's a little, kind of strict, but he goes, he goes, all right, this first thing you want to do. He gave me like this jug and it had like the measuring. He goes, drink water at home, urinate in this. FedEx will come pick it up. I think it was like $50, like a urine test, and they tested everything. So when he came back, I went to the office, and he goes, "All right, we got the results." And he went down the list. Mercury.
This is Dr. Lodi.
This is Dr. Lodi back in '01. So when I first met him, he goes, "This is May '01." So he goes, "Mercury. Okay, we know where that's coming from. The teeth." I even had a little bit of uranium, I think, from when I was in the military, maybe, and because I was like, how did that even get in there?
Wow.
Yeah,
Uranium? You're kidding me.
huh?
So uranium? How'd you get uranium in you?
I don't know if it was for when I was working with M1 tanks or uh, Bradley fighting vehicles, 50 caliber. I mean, the ammunition. You know how they have depleted uranium.
Mhm.
I don't know. Yeah, it's like they don't even tell you, and I didn't care. Like, I was a teenager. I was eating, shit burgers, all that stuff, man. I didn't
And they
care.
give you so many vaccines and they make you take so many experimental
I
stuff.
took about 5. I remember when I first went in, it was the gun. They have that compressor gun, and they
Right.
hit you in the arm, and it's like, I think I took like maybe 4 or 5, and everybody's in a
Oh, that's
line.
it. I heard now they give a
Yeah, it
ton.
wasn't a lot. It wasn't more than that. And then when I went back, I think I had to take another couple, but it wasn't as much, like as people would think it is, because that I was worried about that. I was like, yeah, I don't want to have to go through that. But when you're 18 in your early 20s, you feel immortal. And I was always kind of healthy. So I mean, I never had the breathe. When I was a kid, I had a little bit of bronchitis, but I outgrew it. And then, I mean, we went on like 10-mile runs, all type of stuff. It was hard. I mean, I feel like I was dying, but I'd get through it. And it just I didn't use an inhaler for probably till like around 2008. So you're looking at a good 18, maybe 15 years.
So you used inhalers and then you did all these different
No, I never had to use an inhaler the whole time I was in the military. When I got up to the 90s, never had to use an inhaler.
But after you did all these health things, you did.
No, it was like about another 5 years after that.
Right. But you had done all that like extreme stuff with those experimental doctors, and then you already had bronchitis when you were younger. You said you healed it.
Yeah, but I never had breathing problems. Like, I mean,
yeah, but it was like in remission. There was probably some kind of like, whether it's strep. A
I
lot of
mean, I
people have
mean,
strep all over.
maybe it came later. I mean, I felt with the hydrogen peroxide, I actually felt better than with the vitamin C. I've taken 50,000 milligrams, over 2 hours within a week.
A lot of people say the vitamin C actually makes them feel a little bit ill because you're killing off so many bad stuff.
It
that
could
like
be.
it's like a healing reaction.
Yeah, it heals your gut. The hydrogen peroxide has something to do with that too, because it kills off a lot of candida. You can get like flu-like symptoms, but I didn't feel that. I had a root canal when I was 15, and I remember when I took the hydrogen peroxide a few times, I could feel the tooth around it bubbling like the hydrogen peroxide. And after I read Hal Huggins' book, and I spoke with him in '04, he was like, yeah, you don't want root canals. He said root canals block off the immune system from getting to that tooth. Now bacteria will harbor in that tooth, and your immune system can't get to it to defend you. And the bacteria are smart enough, they'll seal it off. So the tubulars in the tooth have so much microtubes in it that you're looking at like almost a mile of intricate little things where bacteria can hide. And Dr. Robert Kulaz wrote a book, Roots of Disease, and it was all about root canals and the danger of root canals, and saying that even when you get a tooth extracted and the cavity heals, right, the cavitation where the tooth was in, he goes, if it heals, if that's not cleaned out to where the bone matrix can form back fully, you get like a cavitation, like a little like bubble where the the tooth root will go into, and that can harbor the bacteria. So it's like, and that will be like a clear gel to gel that's yellow to green to even dark brown. And in the book he explained all of that. So I had went to him after I had the root canal removed, and he checked it, and I go, well, what color was it? He goes, no, it was like a clear jelly in there. And then yeah, there's so much stuff with health and the body when you look at it. And I hear what you're saying. Like, you definitely, things that you think might help, you got to look into it, because it could like hurt a person.
Right. And when you said you killed candida, you remember how you were talking in another stream last week about how there's certain bacteria that have been with us and working with us for like, ever since our creation, like in our gut. Well, candida is one of those, and that's like, and medical meaning says it's actually a beneficial bacteria that works to help you while you're actually fighting off these viruses that have been injected in us as children.
At a certain level, if candida overgrowth becomes a problem, because candida is there to feed the good bacteria. So the good bacteria,
it is the good bacteria, and it eats the sugar. So it's because it's trying to take a, well, he says it's taking away food from the viruses. Like, the viruses would actually thrive if they got to eat it. So the candida eats it for them, so that these viruses don't proliferate. Because viruses are actually what cause cancer, not these other.
All right, we have to look in this. I mean, you could be right, but I typed it in. It says no, candida is not a bacterium. It's actually like a yeast.
Okay, so, yeah, you're right.
It's a type of fungus and yeast that lives in small, harmless amounts on the skin, in the mouth, and in the gut of healthy people. Right. So it's a fungus.
It's a beneficial thing. But people think that they need to kill it, get rid of it, and starve it. But that's not really what you want to do. You want to kill and starve the viruses, and you don't eat eggs, gluten, dairy, soy, and canola, and whatever. That's how you starve it. And you take lysine and eat a lot of potatoes and take antiviral herbs. That's how you kill the cancer-causing viruses that we've been given.
Well, they're saying also that because this is what I've known, that the overgrowth of it. So if good bacteria are wiped out by like antibiotics, or immune system weakens, it's like candida can multiply. So usually, like, I've noticed this when people take antibiotics that kill off the good bacteria, it doesn't kill off the candida. And that's how the candida overgrows, and it can lead to like oral thrush.
But that's actually the strep in there that's causing that. The candida is there because it's the strep is this antibiotic resistant strep now, and that's like a lot of people. I mean, I had tubes in my ears. I had my tonsils taken out as a child. A lot of people get the cystic acne. Like, there's so much strep in our guts and in our heads, and you can actually kill all of it. You can't get rid of all, like, the viruses. You can't kill 100%, but you can get rid of strep.
You had your tonsils taken out?
Yeah, I got my tonsils taken out as a child.
They said that when you get that done, you're much more susceptible to getting colds and stuff like that.
But I wasn't, though. Actually, I wasn't. I mean, before I actually fell ill in 2018 because of the really chronic high stress I was dealing with and learning about Pizzagate and all
That's
that
a
stuff.
part of us
I
that
never got sick. I mean, I literally would like people would get flus for 2 or 3 weeks. I would take this one herb, like, and it would be I would be done. Like, I mean, it'd be like 3 days instead of 2 weeks. I'd get rid of it in 3 days. So like I had a really strong immune system until I didn't.
really, wow, because it's like the
Isn't
appendix.
that a part of evolution that they say that tonsils aren't needed? Isn't it
Yeah, same
related
thing
to
with
that?
the
I mean,
appendix.
I mean, I think it would have helped me if I kept them for sure. But I don't think it always.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
because I was eating
the fact
organic
that
and
you
I
don't
wasn't
have
drinking
them.
tap water. I was like from 23 years old. I was trying to be as healthy as possible for whatever information was out there.
Well, the thing is, you would have, being that you don't have tonsils, the person that does now, you're looking at two different bodies, like functions to say, okay, this person has this, the other person doesn't. How does that affect other things? Like something that might help you might not help somebody else, something that might not, because they have the tonsils already, and it's a tough one. I remember a guy in the army had his removed, and he said that he felt that he was more susceptible. He would get colds easier. They would go away quickly sometimes, but he said that tonsils have like a it has a purpose, like everything else in our body.
Right. And but I think well yeah, because they remove thyroids, they remove appendixes. Like I mean, there's a lot of things like that we actually have, and they don't really know why we need them and stuff. But I think like I think it had to do with my mom and my grandmother being Japanese, and they eat so much like seaweed and
Hmm.
vegetables that I
Yeah,
think like I didn't have a cavity until I was 49. Like
a cat
my brother still has never had a cavity, and I think that has to do
or
with
a cavity.
the minerals
Wow,
that
that's
my mom and
great.
my grandmother and my family had, and I think that's partly why I didn't get sick. And then, because I started doing like all organic and mostly vegetarian from like,
They said there's
30
a
years ago.
certain bacteria in the mouth that prevents cavities. There's people that don't have no cavities up until their adulthood. They they usually get them in their 30s, 40s, maybe 50s, and it's a bacteria in the mouth that prevents the cavity from forming.
Well, that's a theory of somebody's.
Well, I mean, I can look it up. It says here tonsils act as part of the body's immune system by trapping and fighting off germs like bacteria, viruses,
Yeah,
and
it's part
pathogens.
of your immune system against bacteria into your mouth. Yeah.
It's an
Same
early,
with the what's it called? The appendix. They found that out in early 2000s that it stores antibodies for your immune system.
yeah, and
Right.
good
Well, I know it's
bacteria.
part of your immune system, but I'm saying like whatever bacteria you said exists in your mouth that prevents it. I didn't have my tonsils and I didn't have cavities. And I'm
Here,
just
let me
saying like
see. Well, no, the
it could just be a
bacteria is
theory.
different from the tonsils. Is a part of the immune. The bacteria is something that somehow prevents the other bacteria that forms the acid that caused the cavity. So it won't have that. Like, I'll just check what type.
Yeah, no, I mean, interesting to hear, but like now that when I started doing cleansing and also being in a toxic home and continually doing hardcore cleansing for the last 5 years, um,
Mhm.
there's a lot of acidity from cleansing, unfortunately, and like because medical medium is new information. There's a bunch of dentists in the medical medium community because there's a lot of actually doctors and dentists in the medical medium community.
Okay.
They found that the medical system doesn't have answers for them.
It says here, and this is a good one. It says people who never get cavities often harbor beneficial strains of Streptococcus A12 and Streptococcus salivarius, such as strain M18 in their mouths. These helpful bacteria fight off the harmful acid producing Streptococcus mutans that cause tooth decay. So, and I remember hearing about this a while back with people I knew that would say they never had a cavity. I'm like, holy smokes, you
That
know.
actually could I could believe that that's true. Medical meme hasn't talked about it, but I could it fits the category of like what you're. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
because I know I had strep because I had tonsils taken out. I had tubes in
Yeah,
my
it's like
ears,
you could have that bacteria to prevent you from getting cavities, but
but I don't have that now because I've been cleansing. I probably killed off so much strep, and that's possibly why I have so much acidity in my mouth from cleansing. And that's
wow.
how I got
But we're,
cavities.
but we're seeing about evolution how dangerous it is because the body plays a very. We have organs already with us. that can fight off these diseases rather than supplementation. This body was designed by a
But it wasn't
designer.
designed to, the amount of poisons that we're exposed to right now, it was never designed to deal with this much onslaught.
No, I'll agree with that, but that's poisons are poisons, you know.
It says there's a guy, I think it's Dr. Nagel. He's got videos on YouTube and he talks about how to restore teeth with cavities naturally. Like it's very like fringe, cutting edge type of stuff. But it says here that it's normal to never get cavities, though it's relatively uncommon. So 8 to 10% of adults go through life with never developing tooth decay thanks to favorable genetics, strong tooth enamel, protective saliva chemistry with the bacteria, good oral hygiene habits, and a low sugar diet. Like when
Yeah,
they,
the sugar. I was about to say. I wonder about the sugars.
yeah, the sugar is what causes. I remember one Indian doctor, like he had a speech saying that they give kids white bread to rot their sugar, their teeth because it causes, creates the sugar.
But it's more acid. It's not really sugar because like bread turns into
Yeah, yeah,
glucose in the
exactly.
body.
The acid
It's
that
more
would
like the
kill
shit
yeah.
sitting in the teeth that didn't come out because they didn't brush or floss, and it's like just bacteria. That the bacteria
Yeah.
causes the acid, and that's what causes cavities, not sugar. But,
Yeah.
if sugar's like if there's bananas stuck in your teeth and you don't get it out, then like
Well,
that
sugar,
can turn.
processed sugar, I think.
Yeah,
Process.
but even I think I'm not sure, but I think even fruit, like if you don't get it out of your mouth and it sits in there overnight, like it could
Yeah,
turn
you got to
to
rinse.
okay.
Like they say, fruit should be eating alone because if you eat it with other stuff, it doesn't digest properly.
I think there's
But
certain foods you can have it with vegetables, but like certain like melons should be eaten alone. But
yeah,
there are exceptions, like medical medium, like because like people are very sensitive in their digestion that do medical
mhm.
medium. But you can mix like honey with melons. Like I mean, he's got this recipe. It's really delicious. It's watermelon, strawberry, ginger lemonade, and it's
Mhm.
like really really good. You mix like 2 cups of water or 4 cups of watermelon, like a cup of strawberries, and then some
What,
honey, lemon, and
what?
ginger, and it tastes like those watermelon candies that we used to eat, those
Mhm.
Jolly Ranchers.
Oh
That I
yeah.
never really liked that much, but it tastes just like a Jolly Rancher. It's so good.
Yeah, it
What?
says the bacteria feed off of the sugar that creates the acid. So the sugar indirectly does affect the cavity because it's the
Right.
food for the bacteria that creates it.
But acid, I mean, we have to. I mean, we eat sugar. Like that's what our energy is. Like whether you eat bread or you eat fruit or whatever. Like yeah, there's sugar.
No, natural sugars though, but processed sugar is not a thing too. I mean,
Right, yeah. I mean, processed
yeah.
sugar is not, but but they like really demonize processed sugar. Like kids need to have glucose in order for their brain and body to work. And so if you're not going to get them the fruit, like they got to have something. If they're not going to
But
get
the
them,
food also has an equal amount of fiber, right, to offset the sugar a little bit. So you don't get
yeah, I mean, you're supposed to be having
those sugar.
minerals like fiber.
Yeah.
You can say fiber, but it's like meat, like green leafy vegetables, a lot of vegetables. I mean, that's like medical medium says you can rebuild your teeth with minerals, but like switching with celery juice or eating like drinking a lot of parsley juice and like tons and tons, like a pound of greens every day, and there's a lot of things you could do, but it takes time, like because it takes a long time for teeth to decay. Like a lot of the times that I mean, I wish I kind of want to create a channel sometime to like all these things that I wish I knew when I was younger, so that people could prevent a lot of bad things from happening. Like
Sure.
even if they don't choose to do them, at least they know every time they're eating something, like at least they know they're making a choice and like which one would be better, and then they could do whatever they want and weigh their choices and stuff. But I feel like if vinegars, like if everyone should be using lemon and lime all the time, like vinegars, like basically vinegar and salt in the body basically pickle our organs, like basically just like you put salt and vinegar on a pickle, it'll suck all the water out of it. So it's like it does that to our organs and our cells too. But like it also it's so acidic that like our body will literally take minerals from bones and teeth and borrow that to neutralize the acidity, because we're like literally like there's like vinegar in every single condiment in the refrigerator that we buy. You know what I mean? But
Sure.
anyway, lemon and lime is a big key, but
What do you think about kombucha tea?
that's also acidic. It's fermented. All fermented foods. It's really it's just like eggs and all the farm meats and everything. Those are like survival foods. Like when there's no refrigeration and no like freezer. You got to like can your tomatoes. pickle your vegetables, do all these things so you have food over the winter. So it's great survival food. But unfortunately, they've attacked our survival foods, like like the meats and stuff and the eggs. Like they totally like grew viruses in labs and eggs and feed the dairy. All of it feeds these viruses that they gave us. So they've taken our favorite survival foods and turned them against us. But fermented foods are okay, but it's kind of like coffee. It's like they're acidic. It's like they're fine, but they're not healthy. Like he's like, just don't trick yourself to think that oh, I'm having this fermented whatever. It's really healthy. It's the bacteria that actually causes. It's the bacteria that's on a strawberry that turns black. It's not like a healthy probiotic. You know what I mean? It's the kind of stuff that is on a dead meat. You know what I mean? You don't eat that stuff, but it's a tiny bit of it is happening on the dying vegetable, and that's not the kind of bacteria, the good bacteria that you want in your gut. It's the opposite of that. And if you look into it, you'll find out that that's true. But that's what medical medium teaches.
What about sauerkraut, kimchi? That's supposed to be good.
Same thing.
Huh?
It's the same thing. They're
So
all
you don't
fermented.
think they're good for the gut?
Yeah, kombucha, all those fermented foods are not. That's not the bacteria that's good for the gut. That's the bacteria that literally, is black. When you see a rotting vegetable on the counter and it's getting black, that, it's death. It feeds off of death. It doesn't. Your digestion will struggle. If you just ate a bunch of it doesn't harm you as much as say eating fat every meal, but having little fermented foods here and there is okay. But it's acidic, and if you're really sick, it's not going to help you. But it's not the worst thing in the world, but it's like I said, it's acidic, and then your body has to neutralize it. Anything fermented is not, it doesn't promote health, but it's not it takes it away at these grand levels, you know what I'm saying? But it doesn't, definitely not something oh, this is healthy, that's why I'm going to get it, The probiotic stuff, that's all not true.
Wow.
According to medical medium, and you can try it out yourself. And
I mean, I thought kimchi was good.
It tastes good.
I thought too.
I ate it my whole life. I loved it.
No, I mean in preventing in giving the body good bacteria,
Yeah, that's what they thought. That's what they thought. But I mean, it's possible that the bacteria there might kill off some other bacteria. There could be. It's but it doesn't. It's not yeah, it's not what they say it is. It's not what they thought it was, because it doesn't heal anyone. If someone was chronically ill, fermented.
No, it's not talking about healing. It's talking about replenishing.
Yeah, well, it doesn't benefit anyone. If you were sick, if you're a really sick person and you've tried everything, taking a bunch of probiotics, kombucha, fermented foods, that's not going to help you one iota. And if you're really sick, it would probably take you back a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that's according to medical medium. You don't have to believe me, but basically he has a podcast on Apple Podcasts, and it's called it's apple cider vinegar. It's about vinegar. I mean, if you're gonna have any vinegar, apple cider vinegar would probably be the healthiest one. But basically, he just talks about all these people, they're well, it healed my ulcer, and he goes into and explains how it does that, because it's basically, vinegar is acetic acid, and he said when you put that in your body, you're shocking your gut lining and your gut so much that it literally takes adrenaline, and it whatever you had going on there, if it was a little ulcer, a little spot of irritation or whatever, it's like a steroid. Like I said, adrenaline can patch up certain things for people, but they've mistaken that for that's a life-saving tool. Maybe in some instances for little things, but if you're chronically ill, you're gonna get sicker when you do those
yeah, but what about people that are healthy and they're eating sauerkraut every day, kimchi every day, and
I don't think it's helping them, but it's not. They're gonna, we roll with a lot of punches. I mean, we're getting poison on so many levels. But
but why wouldn't it be helping them?
Because the probiotics that they say are in there are not life-affirming stuff for your gut. It doesn't promote healthy bacteria in your gut. It's the kind. It's
but doesn't it promote lactobacillus?
No, lactobacillus is what, that's a probiotic, right? What you're eating when you do fermented foods, it's like eating a rotten strawberry with black on it. Do you think that would be good for your gut?
Well, that's the thing. I got to see
Well, it's the
I'm
same
checking it right
bacteria.
now, right?
I'm sorry.
I'm checking it now because I've heard this from more, and you're right. I could be hearing it from more people than less, and the less people could be right. But not everybody's the same. I mean, there's certain things that show that people that live into their 90s have a higher amount of good bacteria in their gut. You
Right.
know,
Well,
fermentation is just for weak people who can't eat the raw version. I don't know.
yeah, alcohol is fermented. I mean, the thing is, yeah, I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, when you say all people are different, the thing is
No, no. They
our
say old
bodies are
people
not.
that live longer. Old people that live longer are found to have higher concentrations of lactobacillus and like three other strains of good bacteria in their gut. And
Yeah, and they probably have good stomach, like strong hydrochloric acid. So,
well, that's the
so
thing. It's in combination with this good bacteria that seems to be coming from the fermentation of cabbage and also the kimchi, which is fermentation of cabbage and other, herbs in there and stuff like that.
yeah.
Now,
That's a
maybe
tougher one to prove because I don't think it's never a make or break with people. But if you actually were really chronically ill and you had like a really really serious condition that no other doctor or no other like alternative doctor has ever been able to help you for 20 30 years, but then when you take a medical medium tools and you apply them, everybody gets better. If they actually apply them,
so now
everybody
medical
gets better.
medium is this
So
a he has a YouTube?
he's got a YouTube channel and he streams live on there on Instagram and YouTube and
Is he a medical doctor or no?
no, he
Oh,
didn't go
so
to
he's
college.
like
He didn't go to
alternative
college.
natural ND natural doctor.
He didn't go to college. No, he just the spirit of compassion has been talking to him in his right ear, like incessantly. I mean, it used to drive him crazy. Like he didn't want. He's like, I didn't. He's like, why do I have to do this? He's like, I don't want this job. He said he wanted to like, he loved eggs and he wanted to like make like an egg cafe and just like make eggs for people because he thought it made them happy and he loved them. Like he didn't want to do this job, but he volunteered obviously before this lifetime because it's a hard job. I mean, in the past they said other people with that job that he's got as medical medium this lifetime, they commit suicide because it's just too much. There's like people aren't ready for it, and it's just too much pressure. It's like he literally from like he says he's never had a vacation in his life since he was 4 years old. He was told he only saw a spirit of compassion visually twice in his life, and once was when he was 4 years old when he first when this first started. He saw
Mhm.
this man standing in his room, and then he see him at the kitchen table, and he told them to walk over to your grandmother, put your hand on her heart or her chest, and say the word cancer, like lung cancer. And he was like, and he didn't know what that was. But then he's like, say it again. And he told him to say it again. And he did. And like, in the whole, the parents, everybody was like, what? And so like, they took her to the doctor and it turns out she had lung cancer. So ever since then,
So
like,
wait, he told the kid to say that. Did it give her lung cancer? Is that what?
no, he was telling him basically, your grandmother, you need to tell your grandmother she has lung cancer. So as a 4-year-old, he just was told to say cancer or whatever.
But that doesn't seem like a good thing.
No, he was
words have
telling his
power.
family to go to the doctor, and the grandmother had cancer.
Yeah, but what if he put his hand and said you don't have cancer?
He's
Yeah.
not that kind of healer. He's like
No, but that's kind of weird. That's kind of like why would somebody tell him to do that? That doesn't
because
it,
his job for the rest of his life. He's 60 years old now. He's been basically been given this gift and a curse where there's a man's voice, spirit of compassion, in his right ear telling him exactly what everything that is wrong or going on with every single person that he sees and how to heal them, what herbs they need to heal it. That's
so
what
he's getting messages from like some like spiritual remedy.
Spirit.
it's
Spirit.
called it's called spirit of compassion. It's never been incarnated, and it's not he says it's not, he doesn't call himself an angel.
And what does he have, like a website where he sells all of this stuff?
He doesn't sell anything except for he has books that he wrote in the last 10 years because he was doing a private practice for the last 35 years, but his wait list got so big that he would never be. He said he worked from like 6 a.m. and he would have people do emergency calls all night long. Like he sleeps like 2 to 4 hours a night. And now for the last 10 years, he's just been writing the books because there's so many people that are sick because of all the poisons and viruses that we've been given that, that's why that's his job. You know what I mean? So he can, he's like, I'm just a messenger. He's like, he's like whatever. But once you apply the information, it's true. So it's basically like medical encyclopedia, like of
Mhm.
like how the body works, what causes the problems in the bodies, whether they're poisons, toxins, viruses, whatever, and then what herbs and supplements that you need to take that will actually help you overcome them. And that's why people are healing around the world. I mean, he's got 5 million followers, but I bet only like 1 million have actually successfully used the information and healed from it, or maybe 2 million. I don't know, but because it's not easy. Like people would rather like like Mr. X just wants to take his thyroid medication and eat whatever he wants and not change, and that's fine. That's your choice. But it would be
Mhm.
good that if everybody knows what the information is and they can make choices then. Like, we're not given the information, but it's a real big gift of what he's doing, and it's the very beginning of it. Like, it's like the people that are doing it now in the last 20 years, it's like we're the people that are in the future. Like, it's going to be used in the future. I mean, unless it gets depending on what the timelines are going forward and how it's going to lay out. But another thing is, like, I actually feel like what's going to happen, I don't know, I don't really understand about like the technocratic dystopia and like the positive trajectory timeline that might happen. But I think that there's going to be like the big disclosure is going to be like the whole reptilian thing is going to come out. I know it. They're going to be like, they're going to expose like how they've been ruling the world and eating children. Like, that's like my intuition. Like, that's where I feel like, from what I see online and stuff, that like, that's what's going to happen. And I actually feel like it's like the government thing. Like, you guys are right. Like, we don't need government, but I think that the whole thing is going to be dismantled. Like when all this stuff comes out, it's about just showing how badly we've been controlled and then like destroying government altogether. That's my intuition and my prediction for what's going to happen. But I don't know, because there's going to be two timelines. Like, I don't know if you guys will actually I don't know if you'll ever see that mine's right in case we're in different timelines. I have no idea, but I'm just saying that. I just needed to say that because I was like getting excited today about like, oh my God, this is what's going to happen, because a lot of signs are pointing that way. Because I looked at some really weird stuff today. And since we're talking about education, D, I just want maybe not to talk about it tonight, but have you looked into that Gateway program, that GATE program for the gifted and talented that they've been doing in the United States for like, have you looked into that GATE program thing? Did I get? Oh, it
The
sounds like
K program, is that K?
the GATE,
Gate.
GATE, like Gateway.
Gate.
No. What is it?
It's I only heard about it in the last like year, and I didn't really look into it. But today I saw David Wolf posted this video, and it really freaked me out. I'm like, holy smokes, as you like to say. I it's okay. So the GATE program is this thing called Gifted and Talented something, and like in New York they call it PEGS. Like, I was in it, is like Program Enrichment for Gifted Students. But I think that now they call it Program Educational for Gifted Students, but it was called Program Enrichment for Gifted Students back in the day. But New York was like the version of it. But I guess all across the country and maybe the world, they had this thing called the GATE program. It's an acronym, GATE, and so is PEGS, PEGS. But they basically take kids, and then but supposedly the GATE was trying to find out which kids were psychically like had ESP and stuff like that, and they would take them. Like, I watched the video, and I have to look into it more, but basically there's a supposedly a subreddit stream, and I told you I like the only time I ever like floated above my body, and then I like went down into like these tubes into the center of the earth, and then I found myself in some kind of like airport or whatever. In this video, it's like they said that there's a subreddit. It's called the dream. Like, people meet up in this dream. All these people meet up together in this like dream consciousness, and they call it like the mall. And they're all meeting at this like multi-layered mall. And like some of the images, they're not the same, but they do have like shiny, rusty kind of red floors in it. And they also have these tubes with like these water slides with water in it. And like I saw like red shiny tubes with like water in it, and I saw other people falling out into this like area into some water. So it's like I feel like mine's related, but like they're talking about like I never saw any kind of like mall with like a food court and like all sorts of things that have to do with the mall. Like, that was not in my dream. But it's just very creepy and weird. Like, I have to look into it because I mean, they're saying at the GATE they used to take kids and put them in a trailer, like they take them out of class and give them this like pink drink that like it like tastes like bubble gum, and then they would do these tests on them and like have them look at cards and see if they could like figure out what was on the other side of the card, like all sorts of weird stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Ta-
so you never heard about that?
no, Tara says Gate, talented and gifted, called Peak, and the book smarts they were looking for a psychic. Anybody here have a reoccurring dream with the highway and a bridge that's like a roller coaster? Wow.
Interesting.
I was not in the GATE program, but shared things like the speech therapy by myself for rolling hours in a janitor closet. I think that they were also looking for the ones they could not program. And some of us were not in the program, but were pulled out of class for specific things. Wow. This
Wow.
is
And that's
Peak.
called
Peak is the elementary school I went to in the 1980s. The program has different names.
right. Like mine was Pegs and hers was Peak. So
Wow. Wow, that's kind of deep, man. Timbo says, I believe they went to all schools. Apparently, those hearing tests were more than it was presented to be. Yeah, man. They do these tests. This is where they'll tell us, oh, you're taking a hearing test. Meanwhile, it's some totally, who knows what they're programming us with. Brainwashing and hypnosis, written by Will Flyer, is the technology behind the targeting. And Space Monkey says he's almost the tone test. Tara Jackson said, "Wow, this is."
I remember the tone test.
I remember that test, man. That
It's
is
really high
that is. They gave me that test when I got out the army too, to check your hearing, and you wonder, is it really a test? It's like, what could it be doing? These tones can be, who knows? It's like we're so unless we do the research ourselves. I mean, remember, these people are doing research 24/7 on, humans. We're the test
I
subject.
know hypnosis is real. It works. I mean, there are people, the real ones, you can be hypnotized. That's for sure. That's 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, they say it's easier to be hypnotized if you're smarter. So if you're intellectual, it's easier. It's
Wait, you said it's easier if you're smarter?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like it's easier to fool a smarter person. A smarter person will think they know. Like if you get a basic person that's like, say, a farmer or something like that, you can fool him. But somebody who really knows the land, like look at the natives and tribal people, they don't want to hear it. They're like, listen, there ain't no poison and stuff. You got to have these plants together. And what book was I reading where the guy was talking about how what they don't understand is the synergistic effect that that plants have. So when they try to isolate something in the plant, they're doing the totally wrong thing. They work together. Like I think it might have been in the 100-Year Lie, where he said that they were in the Amazon or in part of Colombia where a woman had high diabetes and the shaman cured it with like 3 different herbs mixed together. When they try to isolate the compound in one or even in the other and just isolate these compounds together, it won't work because there's buffers and other things in it that they don't understand. Synergy is something that they try to act like it doesn't exist, but we know it exists. Things that when you put them together, they become more than the sum of the number that it would be. So 2 plus 2 wouldn't be 4, it would be 12. And it depends on how you use it. It seems like targeted individuals or gang stalk victims were in the talented and gifted programs. So when I was like in 2nd grade, I think, 1st or 2nd, they put me in talented and gifted. And I think the couple that was running it was drawing a picture. And yeah, I've heard of Hemisync. Yep, I've heard of that. They just seemed kind of weird, man. I have hearing problems. Censored say, wow. This is crazy. Talented and Gifted was started as a defense program from the 50s. Yeah, I could see them searching for kids that have any type of talent. Yeah, I could definitely see that under the disguise that, oh, we're here to help you.
Right,
And
they're probably trying to figure out some psychic stuff to help them, but they were probably also trying to figure out who the dissidents are going to be, the ones that could figure shit out. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, no, they definitely uh true giftedness is something people developed over many years, trying to categorize 5, 10 years. No, they got some 5, 10 year olds that definitely got I wouldn't call them freaks. I mean, people do have natural talent. Space Monkey says he's a heavy target that he moved to Japan and he's 6'7". Holy smokes, that's tall, bro. I'm 6'1". 6'7" is wow. Uh,
Mm.
Tara says, "Know thyself." That's where it's at. That's where know thyself is the. It's so deep, man. We're like living experiments. I mean, you look at the sky, the
It's
water, the
true.
land. Yeah, just food
But
we
we're
live.
not all physical beings, so we got to look at it that way too. They can mess with us all they want to, but they're going to be done. They're not going to live forever either. So, you
Yeah,
know,
there's more to us than the physical,
yeah,
and they're constantly trying to convince us that it's only the physical.
yeah. That's where it
And
messes things up.
and the targeting, as far as like Space Monkey was talking about, like I think they actually do these psychological experiments to see how like they had a test like how do you break someone down, like you know what I mean, like the ones that are smart and strong. It's like they're
Yeah,
just gonna keep testing because like they're gonna use it on everybody. You know
yeah,
what I mean? But they got to figure it out.
yeah. Anybody with gifted, talented, the talented and gifted program kids are neurodivergent often, or at it seems like. Yeah, they really it's like we have something that's so powerful, and they're afraid, I think, that we figure it out, or
Hmm.
if they don't, like somebody was saying, they want to try to figure out how to control it by
Sure.
studying this. Yeah.
But sometimes the gifted and talented is a bunch of BS anyway, because I remember some people back when I was married, my, I guess, brother-in-law at the time, his wife would really push for her kids to be in the gifted and talented program, but that she'd do all the homework for them at night. So, and
Hmm.
of course, it never translated. Once they got to high school, it was a totally different story. You know, gifted and talented was pretty much over. So
I
you
mean,
see that a lot in the elementary schools. Like they'll be gifted and talented, and then once they get to high school, it's over. You know what I mean? It's no
yeah,
longer that much.
yeah, it's kind of. I mean,
Yeah,
also
it's public
it got
school.
that
Remember, it's public
MK
school.
Ultra. It's got the
Yeah,
MK Ultra vibe, and you never know. They could be, anything where they try to recruit the kids. You always got to be suspect too with the pedo stuff and all of that.
yeah.
I mean, you got some sick individuals, man. It's just
If
so
we
sad.
knew how big PDF was, well, I mean, I've read articles about it. It's much larger than we can imagine, and a lot of it is involved in the school system, especially public school system.
Yeah, the school
Yeah.
system. Yeah, it's just so sad. The school system is like throwing kids to the meat grinder. Like in the video Pink Floyd, The Wall, the kids
Hmm.
are on that conveyor belt and they all have expressionless mask on, and they're marching and they fall into the meat grinder.
Yeah.
I mean, they said a lot without saying it in that movie, The Wall. It's a weird movie. It's definitely.
What did Mr. X say? He said PBS at the schools, or what did you say?
PDF. Well, it's a acronym for it's called PDF, but it's really for the PDO. You know, the EDO guys who people who are
Oh,
mistreat
PDF
children.
files.
I
Yeah,
call it it's just our code word for it instead of
Right.
for the scream's sake. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Usually I've heard the word files at the end, but you just said PDFs. Okay, I got it.
Yeah, it's just that we use that for a code word just so for the sake of the stream, so it doesn't get flagged. But basically, people who mistreat children,
Hmm.
in many different ways.
Yep, like a factory. The kids in the movie The Wall. Yep, the kids.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was like I mean, that movie said a lot. I mean, I was like an adolescent, I think, when it came out.
And
But
who's running these schools anyway? There's a lot of butt piracy. Let's call it like it is. There's a lot of butt piracy going on in the curriculum.
School of Butt Pirates. It just the
Yeah.
stuff that they teach, the music that they have them listen to. I mean,
Mhm.
now for the last 10, 20 years, it's just ridiculous. You look at the music is it's always been brain programming, mind programming, but now it's on another level. Now
Yeah.
you just see open degeneracy and programming of the mind. And
That's right.
before, yeah, the tunes before it was still programming, but it was programming different. Like um, yeah, it seems like MK Ultra is the same as SRA. It could be. Yeah, just yeah, I love
Well,
playing
MK
football.
Ultra was really it was originated out of Nazi Germany, just
And
transferred over here.
Wow.
they definitely did
Yeah.
SRA and MK Ultra. I mean, they're totally intertwined completely.
Yeah, and
SRA you're talking about?
Yes, satanic
uh,
ritual abuse is
Yeah.
totally part
Yeah.
of MK Ultra. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, it's a real thing too. It's a real thing.
yeah, the MK
SRA.
Ultra, yeah, satanic ritual, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Totally.
Abuse is exponential. Potentially more abuse leads to more abuse. Yeah, exactly. Till you address it. Yep, that is so true. That's so true.
Now, I
Yeah,
wanted to ask cautious of. Oh, I don't want to interrupt you.
yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. Mhm.
No, I mean, because in my opinion, a part of SRA is I think they're trying to bring a demon into the child. I think it's part of a transfer of demons into the child. I mean, I wonder what have you ever heard about that, or what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that is definitely part of it. I mean, same with like taking drugs and drinking. I mean, that's definitely inviting, spirits to come in. But I think it's more about breaking your spirit and shattering it into different alters and like having multi personalities and being able to like, because like as Kathy O'Brien talks about, like it once you
Hmm.
shatter that open and abuse one, like you can just block that off and use it for, just certain programming. I mean, you break the mind basically, but I don't know if
Well,
it's about
well,
demons. Because yeah, I mean, they basically abuse them so much, and they
yeah.
do horrible things. I mean, they do a lot of ritualistic stuff, so it wouldn't surprise
Well, it's
me.
very similar to drugs, abuse and drug, because you can create a disassociation with the mind and the body. And
Right,
like I've watched videos of people who were sexually, on soft white underbelly of people who've been abused, and she described it as sinking into her body so she wouldn't feel the pain. It's just like, and that's a disassociation that allows the spirits to come in.
right,
And drugs do the same effect in a way, high, hallucinogens and
right,
so forth. You can disassociate with and you open up that void for a spirit to come in and possess you.
right. And I'm just wondering how much, because I know that cocaine definitely can do that, but like, what about coffee? Because coffee has very similar effects on the body as far as alertness,
Mm,
energy, this
Mhm.
and that. But it's like I mean, I don't think like I think there's
I
something
don't know
different.
if coffee would, but I
I
mean,
don't think it
I'm not,
would.
I can't say for certain, but alcohol for sure, I think would
Yeah,
definitely do it. That's why they call it
right.
spirits. I don't think it's a coincidence.
But
Yeah.
I wonder what it is. Like, why is it because like how they actually procure cocaine and provide it to the world because all the blood money in it, or is it something else? Like with the
Well,
like, why is that plant more
well,
susceptible? You know what I mean, to the spirit world than
I think it's the
cocaine?
concentration of it. Cocaine hydrochloride is an acid. It has like it'll eat through the nose in time, and people that inject it, that's a whole different thing. Um, when you look at how they make it, you could see the videos on YouTube. I remember they had it on PBS Channel 13 back in the day, and they take the leaves and they'll either use kerosene, ammonia, or a type of gasoline, and they have like such a chemical concoction to pull out whatever extract from the leaves, and then that mixture of this petroleum with it as it is dried off. I guess that's what they use it for. Like it's a solvent that pulls out this from the leaf, and then it after when they pull it out, it dries off and it leaves, I guess, the white pasty, which is the coca paste, and that's the purest form. And I remember the PBS documentary where the guys were saying that they were smoking like 70 cigarettes, coca paste cigarettes, in a night. Like that's
Mm.
all they did. Tara says the gay program agenda was to weaponize kids in the country, yeah, and their minds and mental abilities, their gifts like psychic gifts, yeah, with tracks, with bringing in demons. Yep,
I
yeah.
don't always think though that
Drugs
just
open.
having psychic gifts, like, yeah, I don't think that always psychic gifts always mean demons can come in. Like, I think I mean, you know what I mean saying? Like, I feel like psychic gifts can. I mean, it was Tara. were you trying to say that, Tara, that like all psychic gifts lead to like demon stuff? Or, I mean,
But wouldn't they be spiritual? Because I don't believe human beings have any real psychic power. They just can communicate with spirits that really can communicate that information.
Timbo, he says, Doctor, I just looked it up. The Dark Child describes how altars are made, and yeah, drugs do open a portal a kind of portal. It definitely
yeah.
there's something with that, man. Yeah, I'm gonna check that. Yeah, God
Right,
give.
but I'm saying the gateway program about the psychics, I don't think that definitely just brings in demons if you just have psychic abilities or like tap them with the gate program. You know what I mean? Unless you're bringing in drugs or, abuse, you know what I'm saying?
But conscious, where do you think those psychic abilities come from? Is just the person himself, or I mean,
I think
how do you?
I think it's just intuition or certain, maybe certain genes weren't turned off. Like a lot of people I feel like are genes that
Mhm.
are tinkered with, and so some haven't been tinkered with as much. Or I don't know, like, or pineal gland, if you have too much fluoride, I don't really know. Like, I didn't use fluoride toothpaste, for 30 years,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I mean, maybe I detox my pineal gland a bit. I used to go to those meditation retreats. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, maybe it's also like, but I have to say, maybe my intentions. I think that saying like the road to hell was paved with good intentions. Like, I think that can be true in certain instances, but like we should be careful with what we say, because some of the most wonderful things in the world happen because of people's good intentions and then taking good actions, and then wonderful things happening in life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we can
Mhm.
generalize and say all the road is hell. You know what I mean? Like, just because we're into words and stuff here, right?
I mean, we don't have to call them demons, but I would call it spirits. I would definitely call it spirits.
Spirits, right? But a lot of people consider all spirits to be like demonic, right? Well, at least Christians do, don't they?
Yeah, yeah. It
But
just, I believe they're real, and I believe that people do communicate with them for them from information.
right. So if you have
Um,
intentions to reach out and communicate with the spirit world, like, some people can, I guess, and you can also
mhm.
connect with God. But you have to have intentions to do that and do it. Let me see. What did Tara just write? I gotta look back and see. A lot about the drugs. Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that there's demons involved with, yeah, MK Ultra and drugs. I just don't necessarily know about the gate and just research. Like psychic stuff isn't always satanic or demonic.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of frauds in psychics. Don't get me wrong. I mean, you can go to a psychic, but that doesn't mean they're legit. But there are real people who can. I've experienced it my whole life. They told me what I'd be doing in 30 years from now, and they knew. But I don't think it's they knew particularly. Some spirit must have communicated that information.
Right. Right.
Because the
Yeah. Like
spirits are not bounded by time. They can go back and forth in time anytime they want to. We are just bounded by time in the physical, but spirits are not.
right.
They can alter, they're in that other dimension where they can go back into thousands of years, and they can go ahead thousands of years and see what's going on and come back to
Right.
our time anytime they
like
want to.
like I'm really grateful for the spirit of compassion, and basically says he's not an embodiment because he's never been in a human body, but like he
Hmm.
is the embodiment, the energy of compassion. And like, and basically God, the word compassion, he was kind of it was like created out of that, because the world is like, there's a lot of people suffering on this planet, and it's not just because of their karma or this or that. Like, we've been poisoned on so many levels, and if we're going to have a life here, we should be able to like have the tools to at least fight for our health, you know what I mean, and have some even ground. And I just wanted to say that no one has to believe me and no one has to change their whole lifestyle, but there are a couple things that you could do just to test out some of the things that I've said. Like, if you lowered your fat and only did fat in the evening for like a week or two, and just see if you like feel better, or if you know what I mean, because your liver can do all these other jobs that it wants to do for you if you just like gave it a break from all the fat and protein. Like, if you just don't eat like fat and protein until the evening, like, you might notice a big difference. But if you're someone that takes supplements, I know personally that if I had any fat, like if I take my supplements every day, if I have fat and then I take my supplements like sometime later in the afternoon or evening after that, like, I will pee out a lot of my supplements. Like, my body won't absorb it, because he says it's like the fat, your body is like trying to get, your liver's trying to get the fat out of there. So it has another job of it is to absorb nutrients, but it's like trying to get rid of the fat because it's more
Hmm.
important. So like, there's just certain things that, you can notice yourself, So and also, I mean, do you guys already do this where you drink like a thing of lemon water in the morning? You like 16 or 32 ounces of water, and then you drink like a half a lemon. I mean, a half of a lemon and 16 ounces, and a full lemon and 32 ounces. I shouldn't have said it like that, but if you have a big glass of like lemon water, whether you add raw honey or not, you flush your liver out. Like your liver collects poisons for you all night long. And if you wake up and have that lemon or lime water in the morning, first thing, it's like taking out the trash, and like it's like a hangover like reducer. Like any kind of like, if you feel sluggish in the morning ever, like if you do that lemon water in the morning, like I mean, it's like if I wake up with any kind of aches and pains, I do that lemon water and I feel so amazing after. So I mean, just
I
like
definitely
little
want to
things.
try it. Definitely want to try it. That's
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
mean, it's not like he didn't invent lemonade or lemon water, but the fact that he basically brought it, like Spirit of Compassion shared, that if you do that, if you take a whole full lemon and that 32 ounces of water, you flush your liver out, you will feel it. Like there's no doubt. And like, if you have any kind of sugar balance, like add honey, raw honey to it. But it's really amazing. And then if anyone ever bothers to try like pure celery juice, you would love that too, because I mean, I did not want to do medical medium. I thought it was, BS when I first read it. But when I did celery juice, like I knew it was doing something really amazing for me. So it would upgrade anybody's like, general feeling in their body, even if they just did it a couple times a week or once a week. Like you'll after it tastes horrible the first time, maybe for some people, but after that, your body's like loving it. But anyway, so just little things. I mean, because if you're not sick, you're not going to do medical medium, but it would be great if you could take advantage of some of the tools that like save people's lives and they prevent yourself from ever getting sick. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's amazing how the earth produces so many beneficial things for us, And people want to say it happened by chance. I don't think so. I don't think so. After thousands of years of being on earth, it's still the earth that produces all these fruits that are beneficial for us.
Right.
It's like,
gifts from the creator. Yeah, Tara, totally do it. You're gonna love it. Like, it's amazing flush. I mean, I can't even believe. I mean, it's a miracle. I mean,
yeah, I've done it before, and it alkalizes your body in the morning with the lemon and the water. And they say like you drink that in the morning, and then it prepares your body for the rest of the day. They say
it does more than just alkalinize though. It literally, he says it like your liver leaves like a big thing of trash on the side of it, and if you do that lemon water, if you do enough of that lemon in the water, it like flushes it out, and you will. I mean, it's a huge difference. Like, I mean, if you've done lemon water, have you done a full lemon with 32 ounces?
I've done half a lemon in an 8-ounce glass of water upon rising, and it does. It's like you start the day out with that. You cleanse yourself, and then they say what's really good to drink. What I used to do was I used to take a clove of garlic, crush it, squeeze a whole lemon, right? And then what was the other two? Cayenne pepper, and I think turmeric might have been the other. I forgot the other ingredient. And you're supposed
maple syrup?
No, it wasn't maple syrup. It was honey to use with it. It was like 4 ingredients, I think, plus the honey.
The Master Cleanse?
No, this was like my sister was telling me they call it the flu bomb, and it keeps you like. There's a doctor, a female doctor, like a naturopath on YouTube. She recommends it too. Now, I noticed, I don't know why, but sometimes with the cayenne pepper, when I used to use it, I used to feel a little wheezy, but then sometimes I would feel good. So it's like I don't know why. Sometimes I would do it, I'd feel good, and then other times I would even if I put some cayenne, if I'm eating something, then I'll put it, and then I'll say, man, I don't know what it is. Maybe something changed to where, because it's supposed to be very good for you.
Yeah, it could be a healing reaction. I mean, medical medium says it cleans the blood out of cayenne pepper.
Yeah, it's supposed to be really good. Yeah,
but if you do that water again, I would recommend you up it to 16 ounces though, because you need that water to flush it out. Like the water is what's going to take and carry out
the lemon. Shit. What they were saying, I forgot if it was a book or where I learned that
8 ounces isn't enough, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, but it was like a glass of water. It might have been more than, might have been 10, 12 ounces. But I remember squeezing the lemon in the water, doing that. And then there was another time when I started doing the garlic, the crushed garlic. Oh, it was ginger. That's what it was. Crushed garlic, you grate a little bit of ginger, cayenne pepper, lemon juice, and then honey. But I wouldn't add the honey. I would just do it with the four ingredients and drink that. And that got me better. When I had COVID, my sister was telling me you got to do that every day for like 5 days or something. And if you can do that every day, that's like an energizer for the body or something.
And the honey would probably make you feel even better just because the glucose helps the other nutrients really get.
Yeah, it could, because I was wondering if I needed that, because I was saying, okay, to lessen the sugar, maybe not the honey. Tara, thank you so much for the support. Appreciate it.
And Medical Medium has a version. He calls it the turmeric ginger, garlic shots. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
he puts oranges.
Chili. She says chili.
What does that
chili
mean?
pepper?
Hot pepper. Right.
I mean, peppers, they say, have a lot of healing capabilities, and they also certain peppers kill parasites.
Mm.
You know, like they say, like some natives will take the peppers and they'll mix it with something and it'll produce like a diarrhea, like bowel effect. And that's really the parasites coming out on some types of peppers. But yeah, peppers are an amazing fruit. Remember, it's a fruit because it's got the seed inside of it.
Right. Yeah. And actually, I'm gonna in the chat, I'm gonna post that little video that David Wolf posted about the Gateway program, just in case anyone can. I mean, I don't know if you don't have Telegram. If people don't have Telegram, they can't see it, but you could just like check it out. I'll find it, put it in there. Sorry, I'm all over the place. But the garlic ginger turmeric shots, as I say, like Medical Medium does it, but he does it with oranges. And it is a powerful shot. But I don't make it that often because it's kind of hard to make.
Kimchi, they had kimchi with turmeric, and I remember getting that. And what do you think of sea moss? They say sea moss has a lot of nutrients in it.
I mean, all seaweeds I think have nutrients, but Medical Medium basically points out like the highest superfoods. I mean, there's tons of fruits and vegetables that are out there, and all of them are good for us, all of them. But the ones that he picked out, like in his life-changing books, like he says the most powerful fruit or vegetable on the planet, or maybe he just means fruit, but I think he means in general, the most powerful food from the planet is a wild blueberry. Like the wild blueberries, he's like, they can live through glaciers and being frozen for however long.
Good. Yeah.
They can live through forests, like they can be burned down. They will always come back to the most powerful superfood, high in like anthocyanins and phytochemical compounds that heal. So he said wild blueberry is the most powerful, and he says papaya is like the most nutrient dense fruit on the planet, but the wild blueberry is most powerful. So I mean, there's just certain things that are more powerful than others. Dulse, he recommends dulse for taking metals out of the body, like his heavy metal detox smoothie. Like you said, like when you do chelation, like a lot of different detoxes like do drop the metals and poisons in places. They just like move them around instead of fully take them out of the body. But with the wild blueberries and then the Atlantic's dulse, there's certain seaweeds that are more powerful than others. He uses kelp in one of his I think anti-radiation teas, and then he uses dulse and kelp in that, and then he uses dulse in the heavy metal detox. So sea moss is probably good. It's just maybe not as powerful as some of the other ones, but I'm sure it's good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's deep. I mean, it's always good to learn about health. The whole raw food thing. I do believe that there are some foods you got to eat raw. I mean, I wouldn't eat a cooked cucumber. Melons should be raw, of course. Oranges, and there's so many foods that melons are like really amazing. It's so hard to get an organic seeded watermelon for a decent price, because you get an organic seeded watermelon, they want like $16.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
you have to grow your own.
Yeah, or even $20, and it's just you want to be eating that almost every day for a time. But cantaloupes too. I love cantaloupes, but it's hard to find organic good cantaloupes.
Oh my God, have you ever blended cantaloupes and drank it like a smoothie?
Oh, it's delicious. Cantaloupes.
Oh my God.
I did read something about. They say when you blend like a banana or any type of fruit,
Yeah,
it
it's
it
not
does it releases it to it does something to alter the structure.
well, they're saying the eye. Yeah, that was a theory. I mean, it's like
Really?
it breaks it down, and it helps your body digest it quickly and easily. It's like whatever it takes away. It's like, oh, oxygen
Like
got
when I
exposed to it.
bite into a cantaloupe, I get a better feeling that when I drinking it is good, the smoothie, but there's just something about it. A ripe cantaloupe, the flavor of that orange fruit with the beta carotene is just delicious. Honeydew melons are good too, and of course
Yeah, but
watermelons.
but cantaloupe tastes the best. I
Yeah,
never liked
cantaloupe is
watermelon
the
growing up,
best.
but now I love it, and I have been eating it every day for the last like 3 months.
Yeah,
Um,
cantaloupe is yeah, cantaloupe is yeah, censored content says watermelon could sustain soldiers. Yes, exactly, man. It's a hydrating food, man. It's delicious.
it's really
Melon,
good for your gut. It can clear out a lot of old stuff in your gut too.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely that you know, when we look at just these natural foods, it's like that's the stuff you look at that nature provides some of the most
That's right.
powerful foods, you know, for
Order and design. It had to be made by a creator. Come on, give me a break. It's so designed to help us. Come on. Out of chance. You think it's all happened out of chance? You're out of your mind, you know?
yeah,
they
so
just
good.
and then they produce this processed stuff and then they make it harder for us to get the natural. I mean, you gotta grow like a field, like you know, a patch. Like I tried growing cantaloupes back in 2012. Um, it was tough. I grew like two or three, and they were like tasteless, you know. And I was like, man, you know what I realized? You got to get the right genetics, like heirloom seeds from tomatoes. You'll get a lot more plants. You'll get bigger tomatoes. Like it's definitely something. I see why people would save and pass down seeds. You have certain fruits that will produce very sweet fruits due to the seed. There's just so much stuff that you know farmers. They have some good channels. Like you see, like a lot of channels with these guys that are just growing so much different types of vegetables. It's amazing.
But look at most of our fertile land under this earth. It's under corrupt governments and it's on, they suppress farming. It's
Do,
like, that's planned. It really is.
do you think that the lack of sugar content had something to do with? I mean, you definitely the soil was definitely had a lot enough nutrition in it and
It could
stuff,
be the soil, but I think it's more the genetic of the plant. You know, soil definitely has something to play with it, but I've had
fertilizer, like it could have been
yeah,
soil
that
that was
it,
seeded.
yeah, that definitely has a part, but I've noticed the genetic of the seed being more powerful
Mhm.
of a factor because
Right.
I tried everything. And my friend Pete, he had like more land to grow stuff, you know, like where I mean, he would grow these watermelons. I'm like, how the heck, you know, it just, yeah, it was just crazy. The
But
can,
imagine a country like Cuba, what it could produce in
oh man,
fruits and vegetables. I mean,
yeah,
in the
here,
rich minerals that they have there, it'd be
yeah.
unbelievable. Yeah.
Well, you're down in Florida, Mr. X. Do you have like a citrus or an avocado or just something? Got some fruit trees
No,
out.
well, I live in an apartment, so I don't have a yard to grow these things.
Right, right,
But
right.
yeah.
Well, you could have a
Uh,
little lemon or lime tree on a little porch or something, a little
yeah, I
or a
could do
little
that for
balcony.
sure.
Or
Yeah, I
tomato,
didn't think about that. Yeah.
tomatoes grow real easy, man. That in a little pot, man.
Mhm.
Tomatoes, I've had them bare. Uh, yeah, it's all different types of tomatoes. Tomatoes are like nature's delicious fruit, like a non-sweet fruit. It's so nourishing. Striped tomatoes, like pink tomatoes, white tomatoes, dark purple. You know, I've seen they had the black tomatoes, a lot of red tomatoes, different types, you know, Roma, cherry tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes. And it just the vitamin C, the lycopene, all it yeah, it's like a natural package of medicine that
Yeah.
It
these
is.
things really, you know, Christopher, good to see you, man. He says they're making fruit seedless, not for our convenience. Absolutely, man. Seeded fruits are a must, man. Yeah, let coolness live forever is the language of the soul. Yeah, man. Sacred groves are what the ancients call the forest they manage for food. Yep, exactly. These are Yeah, yeah.
It's funny how the Earth provides everything we need, but we screw it up. Not us personally, but humans in general mess everything up. You know.
Well,
Listen,
they could be reptiles though. Those are the ones that are probably doing
Something that
it.
looks like us, yeah, that ain't us.
What about have you tried those heirloom tomatoes? Oh my god, those are so juicy and good.
Yeah, heirlooms
Oh
are amazing. Those
god.
are the seeds that there's a guy, he's got an app. He's gotta be in his 20s. And this kid is doing so much to save the seeds, and he's got an app on where to find organic foods. And it just, yeah, I forgot his name, man, but I'm so glad he's doing work like that. Like, people know there's farmers speaking out now about the cuts in government funding for the small farms that they're starting to knock them out. Yeah.
yeah, it's deliberate. It's got to be deliberate.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's a lot of people with the MAGA that's turning against them because their farms aren't being supported. Wow, Nigeria has a sacred grove. People, wow, that's deep, man. TML raid, the battle axe. I don't know where TML is. The machine lies. What's up, bro? There he is. Yeah, man. This, having the gardens are where it's at.
Yeah.
Tomato from a store. Yeah, you look at tomatoes in the store. If you're not getting organic, you got to be real careful with the organic, man.
The Soylent Green looks like it's going to happen with the way they're controlling all the farm territories. Bill Gates is buying all the farms, and Soylent Green seems to be around the corner.
Yeah.
Supposedly I heard something about it, like he created like AI created these like man-made viruses or something, but whatever, that's just doom and gloom.
No, I heard that they used the genetic when people were giving in their genetics for like the 23andMe and all of that stuff. Now they're using people's AI to make specific viruses for that DNA.
Jeez, I'm guilty of it too. I gave.
If you look up the videos, it's freaking ridiculous. They're ethnic. Matter of fact, JFK, RFK Jr. talked about that. He was like, "Oh, ethnic weapons. They're all just monsters."
Yeah,
they're really.
I did too. I wish I didn't do it. I was like not paranoid for a few years. I was just totally living the regular life, and then I totally just did that. Like,
they're vaccinating the meat, the lettuce. I had a clip from the representatives in Texas, right? The House of Representatives. They were asking, like, "Hey, we wanted to be labeled because they wanted to make sure that you don't overdose." So they're putting this in. If you look up vaccinated vegetables and fruits, now they're built into the genetics with this thing. This is like you talking Frankenfood on another level. And I did that video like a few years ago. It's private now, but it's just like, what the heck? I might have to do a review of it again because I was doing it, letting them speak for like 18 seconds, pausing it, giving the commentary, and stuff like that.
But you remember the COVID test? I was looking it up because I had to remember. They took a saliva example, so maybe that was just to get all our DNA.
Could be to get the DNA, so they could use AI now to make a target thing. This is what they're saying in some of the videos.
Because they did take I remember a saliva sample. I remember it now with the Q-tip. That was just a DNA test, basically.
Yeah. So the saliva is the DNA test. The tone test, we don't know what that does. The hearing test, we're going to check your hearing, and who knows, I mean, we live in a big lab.
They probably just needed everybody's DNA, so that was what the COVID was. The sickness was for. You know what I mean? Get everybody's DNA as much as they could.
And battle axe is saying that the deer and other wildlife. I've seen animals not mess with certain bread and stuff. Like you throw it out and try to give it to them, they don't even want it. Yep.
Oh, the animals! I was watching a video recently about the pythons that are down here in Florida because we have a lot of them, and they're starting to disappear. And one of the reasons they're disappearing is the coyote, which is not, that's not his normal predator because they're two different worlds. But the coyote actually learned how to kill the python. He attacks the head. And the coyote learned that just by watching the python. So these
Wow.
animals can actually learn to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I heard pythons were like overtaking Florida from people like letting them out after they have them as a pet, and then they
Yeah,
would
that's what
go eat.
happened. They spread all over the place. But then these otters, they attack the eggs, and also the coyote learned how to kill the python. He bites the head, and he just learned that on his own because normally the coyote would never hunt the python.
Coyotes are smart. They
Yeah.
are. I've heard that thing about a coyote chewing off his own leg when it's caught in a trap. It's
Wow.
like you're talking some real coyotes are they're serious hunters.
They
Serious
are.
hunters. Like, yeah. They
And that's
just
what's reducing this population of python.
I've seen videos where they just run up and snatch somebody's house cat. Done. Just
Hmm.
it's sad. Next thing you know, like you could if you look up coyotes eating house cats, it's freaking off the handle. It is
Yeah.
like yeah, it's messed up. It's like they have like such a wide mouth too. You wouldn't think just like a fox. That mouth can just grab the entire head of a cat. It can
Oh, we
grab
got them all over the place here now. They're
yeah,
like spreading like wildfire here in South Florida because so much building in the Everglades that they started coming out. And,
yeah, coyotes are dangerous too, man. They'll
they
they'll
are.
kill a human. They definitely are dangerous. They're like a vicious dog. I mean,
It is.
more than that actually. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can tell it's a coyote the way he runs. He has that hopping kind of run.
Yeah, some dogs won't eat at McDonald's hamburgers. It's so true, man. They just they know. They know. Yeah. Yeah, they definitely won't eat certain fruits and stuff. Coyotes east of the Mississippi are hybrids of a domestic dog and wolf. I'm not too sure about that.
I think I
I don't know.
saw one. Like we have a lot of like foxes here, but then there was a coyote, and it looked like a kind of a part dog. But I mean, that makes sense what he said because I thought it looked a lot like a dog, but it definitely was really mangy,
Hmm.
and it looked like
Well, he's
a hard.
saying that yeah, but that's the thing. When you look at it, see, this is where it's like, okay, what dog? You see, so that's where we're not getting, you say, okay, it
Like a
says
husky. It looked like a mangy husky
yeah,
German
but they
Shepherd
don't
mixed with a wolf or something.
I'm looking to see if they say it because there is a thing where wolves started breeding somehow they were able to breed with coyotes. I don't know if it's true. I gotta look it
I'm
up.
sure they could because they're both kind of the same species in a way. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure they can
Yeah,
interbreed.
maybe. I mean, there's some like I think elk or something or deer that can do that. I mean, and it can also be an adaptability too, to where if
Hmm.
animals somehow, that ethereal force, that intelligence that causes something to camouflage and stuff like that. Southeastern coyote.
Or
So
done in a lab by reptiles.
they're trying to say that they incorporate the red wolf genetics rather than the gray wolf. Um, yeah, I got to look up this more. Been seeing coyote tumbler hybrids. Yeah, that
They're all over the place down here. Look up Hollywood, Florida coyotes. You'll see it on YouTube. They're everywhere.
wow.
Yeah.
And later, can I just wanted before the like at some point before the call ends, could we talk about sprouts because like that's something that
Yeah, go
everybody
right
knows
ahead.
about.
Yeah.
Well,
Hmm.
just like Mr. X, like I don't know if you have a terrace or whatever, but even if you don't have a terrace, like in your window at home, like if you get one of those like 3 or 4 sprout like little circular trays, like I make
Hmm.
them every week. You just put some seeds in there and like change the water twice a day, and that food like the amount of nutrients that are in those small sprouts are like they're like it's more powerful than having just like even like the large greens and they also have this thing medical medium says that when you grow your own food there's this thing called elevated biotics that are on all like all the even like all the vegetables that you grow out in your garden if you rinse them lightly there's this thing called this like a layer of elevated biotics and it actually when you eat foods that you grow and there's still this elevated biotics on them you actually when it gets down into the ileum of your intestinal tract it creates vitamin B12 in your body because it's not it's not easy to, have good quality vitamin. Buying a good vitamin B12 is very, very expensive. But if you eat sprouts or your own food that you grow,
Hmm.
it's highly beneficial for your for your body and your
Growing
intestines.
sprouts, basically
Yeah,
growing the
growing
sprouts.
sprouts. Yeah, growing
Hmm.
sprouts is like, it's just so much dense nutrition. So,
I
people can't
believe.
have gardens, they can always do sprouts. Like
Hmm.
$15 or $20, you can get those little trays on Amazon or whatever, and it's great.
Well, definitely thank you for the information. Definitely look into that. I'm definitely gonna do the lemon water though. That's for sure. I need to flush out my system. For sure.
Yeah, they said the sprouts are really good. Like
Yeah,
certain sprouts. Like what sprouts do you think are the best?
I mean, I some are harder to grow. Like I have arugula, and it's hard to grow them because they're 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 like a little seed that when it opens up, it's really slimy and sticky, and it kind of goops up with like the other ones, and it's not easy to like grow. I sprinkle them in between a bunch of alfalfa ones. I do alfalfa. I know that kale and broccoli are really, really powerful, but I mean, I love doing like the spicy, like the mustard greens. Like I don't have them, but like I want to do my own, like, you know, like I mean, radish ones are really, really healthy. I don't really love the taste of radishes so much, but those are super, super healthy. But the broccoli ones are really hot and peppery. So like, you know, like I know broccoli and kale, but like alfalfa I know is very healing, and red clover. But pretty much anything you have, it'll be healthier than even having like the larger vegetable of anything. I mean, it's just super dense. Like it's just doing yourself a huge favor to just have sprouts, like as much as you can make them. Like just that one thing that you could do, instead of like being worried about like going to the store and or growing your own food. It's like something that everybody can do. Um, but yeah, but I do alfalfa and some red clover, and alfalfa is very easy to grow. So.
Yeah, I mean, they said sprouts when you buy them from the store, you got to be careful because they got a high bacteria count. But if you
Yeah,
grow
I
them,
mean, yeah, I mean, because you don't know. I mean, you didn't grow them yourself. I don't know if you have to. I mean, they have the elevated biotics on them, I'm sure, because they're still alive and they're touching the air. Like,
hmm
if like he has an Apple podcast. I think he's got them all on his YouTube channel too, Medical Me. But he did, I think, a whole thing on elevated biotics. Yeah, I think so. I'm like, but maybe not. I have to think about where he shares that information. But
it says the mustard greens go back real quick. The
oh
mustard,
yeah,
the mustard green sprouts and the horseradish, that'll act as saying anti-tumor benefit. Sprouts tons. Uh, yeah, there are so many things. Sprouts, they say, contain so much nutrients too, right?
yeah. Yeah, and you can do like lentils and garbanzo beans and stuff like that too. But I think the ones of the green leafy vegetables are a little bit more dense, with those minerals that we need. But
hmm
you do the other ones too. I mean, and what you were saying earlier about live food, like raw food is the healthiest. Like it has the most powerful healing effect on the body. But some people who are really sick, they can't handle a lot of raw food. Just like like you were saying, with someone said fermented foods are like the easier way for someone that can't handle raw foods, because raw foods can really like the healing effects of raw foods can really like cause
Yeah,
problems for
sometimes
people.
raw onions, if somebody's not if their stomach's not up to it, I heard that it can be
Hmm.
a little hurtful.
Yeah, and all these people that think they're allergic to fruit and that they're allergic, they're like, oh, I've got an allergy, I can't have apples or I can't have this, but it's like actually he explains that it's actually those fruits are actually healing what's going on with you, but people get up, they listen to their body. If their body's not feeling good, they're like, oh, this isn't good for me. You know what I mean? Just like when they eat meat and they feel energized, they're like, this is good. You know what I mean? It's like you can't always just listen to your body because true health is sometimes counterintuitive. You know what I mean? Or just it doesn't make sense because you're like, oh wait, I should feel good if it's good for me. But that's the tricky part.
There was a book that I had from Dr. Batman Hellich. What a name, right? It was called Your Body's Many Cries for Water. And it really showed that sometimes when you're hungry, your body just wants water.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, and that's the thing is like, will you try it? Sometimes I know you did a half a lemon in 8 ounces, but will you do a half a lemon in 16, or even do 32? Because the more you do, the more you get to flush out. You know what I mean? Because if your body's been working all night and you got some trash to take out, like it's really nice to get rid of that. Because otherwise, if you don't get rid of it, it kind of goes back in. Like your body kind of is like, okay, well, not today. We're not getting rid of it today. You know, some of it can come out of you, like, but usually people drink coffee right away or they eat like cream in their coffee. It's like, you know, then your body can't really get rid of it because it's dealing with the adrenaline
Yeah.
because
Yeah. The
your
more
liver's got
water,
it.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So just try it. Just see if you feel amazing, more amazing. It's a good hangover cure. You know, but I'm not drinking right now, but I know it does. Like sometimes I wake up when I feel like I have a hangover because, you know, like the poison house that I'm living in, like I would wake up and have certain like pains or this and that. As soon as I do the lemon water, they're gone. And if there's anything residual, the celery juice takes it away.
Wow. I tell you, the house materials that they build them out of, that's a whole other thing. When I was doing construction, a friend of mine, he was using a lot of caulking. And I remember his first son came out handicapped. And he was telling me, he goes, look, man, he goes, 6 months prior to his kid being born, he goes, he was telling me he worked with a lot of caulking, a lot of, like not good materials, gypsum, sheetrock, all of that stuff is from the atomic waste industry, actually. Battle Axe says integrative medicine protocols heal with whole foods. Yes. Your body must learn to tolerate certain foods it isn't accustomed to. Chelation, methylation, all parts of detox. Yeah, we're so, I mean, supplements are Pharma 2.0. Yeah, some of them, you're right. You got to know where those supplements come from. They had a supplement business, something naturals, I think it was, these guys in California. And that's one thing the raw food guys and the whole vegan community, they search for quality stuff, I would say sometimes.
Yeah, anybody can put supplements together and sell it. And Medical Medium says a lot of these companies, like, like celebrities that, just like they put perfume, like they create perfume, fragrances or whatever that are toxic, but they could also be like, oh, I have a vitamin that I'm going to sell. And they can go to like storehouses, like warehouses, that would be like powdered vitamins that have been sitting on the shelf for 20, 30 years. And they use them and put them in a multivitamin, and you're allowed to add fillers. Like there's like the laws for the FDA for supplements are really, really lax. So like you have to actually find quality supplements, and it's not so easy to find. So I mean, Medical Medium sometimes he only recommends people that he knows don't add the fillers and do and have like high integrity and quality control. Vimergy is the one that he recommends now. Like V is in Victor, Vimergy, Vimergy. They're expensive, but they actually do help people heal. So they're not really Pharma 2.0. I mean, if that's a negative connotation, Pharma.
What's synergy? Is that what you said?
Vimergy with a V like Victor.
Mm-hmm.
V like Victor, Imergy.
Mm-hmm.
They're very expensive, but they are lifesavers. Like if you're sick and your immune system is like kind of busted, like it gives you the stuff you need. As long as you're not eating it with fat. Like I was taking them and I was eating fat at night for the first like couple of years, and I didn't realize that I was wasting kind of money, because when you take expensive supplements, you really don't want to eat them with fat because you don't really absorb them. But yeah, they're really, really high quality, and they make a huge difference.
What about like rose hips? And what about spirulina?
Yeah, spirulina is in the heavy metal detox smoothie. That stuff is really good. I've been eating that for like 35 years. I've been putting that in my smoothies since I was like 23. It's very, very healthy. I put 2 teaspoons in my
They
smoothie
say it's
every
like
day.
a complete food, right?
Yeah, it has you don't need everything has protein in it, so it's got the right micro amounts of protein, but it's just a very it's all around like a really powerful superfood. Yeah, the heavy metal detox smoothie. If anyone anyone could just Google Medical Medium heavy metal detox smoothie. It's so delicious, but even if you don't do all 5 of the main ingredients that pull out the metals and
Hmm.
fully carry them out fully. If you even do 3 ingredients, like the 5 main ingredients are the wild blueberries, 2 cups of wild blueberries, 1 cup of tightly packed cilantro, 1 teaspoon of spirulina, a high quality spirulina, 1 teaspoon of a barley grass juice powder, not barley grass powder, but barley grass juiced powder. So you turn it
Hmm.
into juice and then you dehydrate it, and then the last one is dulse, Atlantic dulse. So those 5 items together, like really successfully pull metals out of people. I mean, it gave me my life back. It's helped people like it's like it's so beautiful what that smoothie has done, and it's so delicious too. And you can add like extra frozen bananas because you also there's other ingredients in it that actually you have to have the glucose, the sugar in it to carry all those nutrients into the cells. So you have like 2 bananas and an orange or the juice of an orange in it. So you have the blueberries and those things, but it's so freaking delicious, and you basically are saving your life. Like you can prevent dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's,
Hmm.
all sorts of mental. I mean, bipolar, like so many mental things are like so many people have so much metal in their brain, and he really describes autism and how that is formed, like why he describes like when kids get those metals in their brain, like what happens. It's like dropping an automobile in the Grand Canyon. He's like, the way that the sunlight reflects in the canyon is different now that you add that piece of metal in it. The light bounces off from like where it's supposed to go out somewhere else, and that's what causes like these kids to have like really exceptional gifts in certain ways because their electrical charges are
Hmm.
actually redirected somewhere else, so they develop a part of the brain that's not normally developed. So that's like kind of explains
Yeah.
like how they have these super gifts, but then in other ways they're not developing like other kids because it's being blocked. So
What
it's really fascinating.
White Heat Truth says, can conscious draft a basic detox regimen for the
Yeah,
service if you want to?
totally. I mean,
Yeah. And
yeah,
thank you,
it would
Battle
be.
Axe. Thank you for the support.
Oh yes, thank
Yeah,
you.
if you want to type it in, you can put it in the
Well,
chat too.
I don't know if I could do it right now. I'd have to like
Okay,
probably.
yeah, when you get
I
time, or
wanted to
leave it in
spend
the
some time
comment when you
making
get
sure.
time tomorrow or something.
Yeah, and I'll
Or,
put
or
it
say it, you could say it now and they can listen and then you can type it in later.
right. I mean, the basic. I mean, I won't. I mean, the basic thing. I mean, to flush out. I mean, the basic thing is like lemon water flush in the morning first thing, and if you could on an empty stomach have celery juice after. That's a powerhouse, but not everyone's going to commit to that. But basically the big thing is lowering your fats and proteins until the evening, like
Hmm.
that's like that thing will like hugely help you. It's lemon water in the morning and not doing fats or proteins till the evening. Like that thing is like huge right then in and of itself. But I can put together like like a little regimen, and like, but I want to do it like and make sure I did it right. So I'll probably take more than a day or two, and then like at another stream I'll just say, okay, I got it. And then if anybody wants to like, you know, I could put a link or something in the chat or something. But I want to make sure it was detailed enough because I would hate to give partial
Yeah,
information.
no, that's cool. Take your time. I mean, it's great that
Yeah.
I am good to see you. I am says stinging nettle and properties to treat arthritis type problems. I heard stinging nettle has some really medicinal properties.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
yeah, that's there's so much herbs and fruits, and one of the things that the raw food guys had me when I read the book, The Raw Food Diet, was they said cooked food dehydrates your body because it's you cook out the moisture and then when you eat it you have dehydrated. And I always wondered about that because I noticed when I eat like tomatoes, avocados, I do feel hydrated. Oranges, I still got 2 oranges. It's been like over a week. I hope they're still good. But yeah,
I don't
and
know if dehydration is the actual chemistry that's
yeah,
being
not fully dehydrate, but I see where a fruit will hydrate or a vegetable will hydrate you that's raw. But I'm not, yeah, because when I think about soup, all right, I would think you're getting hydrated from that. But I guess they're talking about eating stuff like bread or cake and I mean, these stuff. When I look at stuff like that, it's like a lot of these foods that are made might not, it's like you say to yourself, all right, I got to walk and like you got to pick out which ones are safe. It's like we're running a gauntlet or something like that. White Heat Truth said, thanks, man. Yeah, no, that's cool, man. She really is breaking down the nutritional, the medicine, that lemon water. You're right. The 16 ounces might be. Yeah, I would think it's better with especially using the full lemon.
Well, the
Right.
full lemon, you do 32 ounces. If you could do 32 ounces and the full lemon, I mean, I do that every day. And I mean,
And the water's room temperature, right?
yeah, he says you can do lukewarm, but you don't
Yeah,
want to do hot.
yeah,
You don't want to do hot because it'll take away the living juices of the lemon or lime. You don't
mm,
want to kill those living things. And that's the
yeah,
thing with raw food. It's like when you kill
enzymes.
it, when you cook it, you take away,
Yeah, the
I think it's
enzymes. Yeah,
digestive enzymes, and also probably some other things that I can't articulate right now. But
lemon. Yeah, you want it raw. I hear what you're saying. Cool water, room temperature.
yeah, room
Yeah,
temperature,
yeah, I
cool,
would
right?
say that. Yeah, I've noticed that. That's like a starting off the day right. Because what they were saying, I don't know if it was in the book Eat Right for Your Blood Type, but he's saying when you drink it, it strips the mucus lining from your stomach. So now when you
When you
eat,
drink what?
now it's going to digest better. Something like that. I remember
Oh,
this was like 2 decades ago.
eat. Oh, I read Eat Right for Your Blood Type. I don't remember them saying. They're saying the lemon water strips your
It gets
stomach
rid of
lining
the
of
bad
what?
mucus on the lining of the stomach.
Oh, bad mucus. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it could do something like that, but I think the more powerful thing that is like life saving is that your liver takes the garbage out. You know what I mean?
yeah, the liver, you got to have the liver clean. It's always, IAM says coconut water straight from a real coconut is great for hydration. Absolutely. And I heard it's got potassium and a couple of other minerals too that are very beneficial.
Yeah.
Magnesium, I think, too, a little bit.
He said coconut water is the only one. Like drinking it out from the coconut is definitely amazing. My friend used to like climb trees in Hawaii and like cut them down,
Wow.
and we have them. It was amazing. But he said that like coconut water and is like one of the only foods that even though it's packaged, it does kind of hold its healing as long as it's 100% pure coconut water. You can't have like citric acid or other
Yeah, and they
preservatives
got
in it.
the coconut water not from concentrate.
Yeah,
That's
not from concentrate, right? And no
yeah,
additives,
yeah.
just pure that it actually contains like so much of its healing properties
Oh yeah.
still.
It's
And he
it's
said it's the most
just
powerful.
candy, like candy water. Some of it is just some of
Yeah,
it
some
plays tastes kind of, plain, but the
bland.
sweet ones, they
Yeah,
have a company that sells raw coconut water, unpasteurized raw, but it's expensive. I think
that
it's called
is that the pink
harmless.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
harmless.
pink. I mean, I used to like that stuff a lot. It is sweet, but he said when it's pink, it's actually fermented and it's actually turning. I mean,
Well, I heard that some of the pink is from certain areas like Thailand, because like you were saying, like something with the soil too. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think that some of them, because I think he said the harmless harvest. It's like it was like a PR campaign that they were like, oh, tell everybody it's like a special thing and charge them extra, and then they're gonna believe it's better for them. But he's saying that a lot of the pink ones are actually they're like
Because it's
over
really harmless harvest is very expensive. I
very
bought
expensive.
it was like
Yeah,
$5.99 for like 12 ounces. I
I
don't
don't
even
think it's worth getting. And he says it's actually not as good for you either. But I mean, I do understand though, because when I used to get the fresh coconuts in Hawaii or whatever, some
uh-huh.
of them did have like a hue of pink, and it wasn't because they were fermented. It was just kind of like
Yeah, it had that from whatever the soil or the nutrients, kind of like.
it's like
I mean,
young coconuts.
Timbo
But
was
he
saying,
said that. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
don't know if this is true, but I did hear about this. Soldiers using coconut in IVs when they were in Southeast Asia, coconut water.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, it's really medical medium says it's the best thing. Like if you were gonna have supplements, like the best way to get the supplements into your blood and into your cells is to have your supplements with a banana
Yeah.
or with coconut water. Coconut water like literally enhances, you know, the supplements and the food that
Yeah,
you're eating.
I was using a protein powder mix. It was like a meal replacement by Garden of Life. They claim to be
Oh yeah, I know that.
the organic stuff, and I would use coconut water instead of regular water, and it would be delicious when I would mix it up and, kind of like, I don't use it a lot, but like whenever I remember stuff.
Well, and if it was there was a health regimen, it would be like it would probably be like don't do protein powders anymore because that's
Yeah,
like a
yeah, I
whole
heard they're not really that good. You got to get really
yeah.
good ones, but even them might not be that good.
Yeah, because the thing is, like I said, like I mean, like not like I said, medical me. I shared that medical medium says like mother's milk is 97 to 99% sugar water. It's very little protein. There's like micro amounts of protein in every fruit and vegetable we have. Like we don't need to supplement protein. We don't need to
Yeah,
eat
well, you
more
know what
fish
it is?
and
It's
meat.
a meal replacement. Yeah, I thought I'm making a mistake and call it a protein, but you do get protein in it, but it's more of a meal replacement. Like my
Right.
sister's husband was looking at it, and he was saying, because he takes protein. I guess he's like 6'2", works out a lot, and he was saying, yeah, if you had any. I said no. I said I don't really, I don't really work out anymore. I just yeah, it just yeah, just yeah,
I
the
mean, I guess yeah, as a meal replacement, it's like you got to eat something. So
yeah, I
it's like
use that
filler
because they
food.
were
It's
on
like
it. He
filler
wanted to
food.
go to the store and get the protein one. He was like, "Oh no, this is meal replacement." Because I was like, "Yeah, that's all." I had that, but I've noticed people get stuck on the protein thing. Like a lot of guys that work out, they're like protein fiends. Like, they'll be looking at the amount of protein in everything, that they eat.
The
Uh,
whole world is like that. I mean, every single health institution, alternative or not, they're all like, "Are you getting enough protein?"
Yeah,
I mean,
Tom Lodi, he always told me you only need like 5 or 6 grams a day. He goes, you ain't gonna die from. He goes, nobody in America is gonna starve to death from protein.
yeah, because it doesn't help you do anything. I
Yeah,
mean, it's just something that we build in our bodies from the
yeah.
food
You
that
got
we
some
eat.
of these juice heads eating like 100, 200 grams of protein a day. It's
Yeah, I
freaking.
think even Arnold Schwarzenegger said you don't even need more than 3 or 5 grams of protein to like be a bodybuilder. I mean, even he said
But he
that.
was on steroids too,
Yeah,
though,
yeah, he
so
was
I'm
on
not too sure
steroids,
if I trust his opinion.
and he's got long muscle bellies because
Yeah, he does.
yeah.
Yeah. But he was Juice City. I mean, he juiced
Yeah.
up. I remember dating this girl in Massachusetts, and she was a vegan, and she told me he got a heart transplant. No, the heart valves were replaced in the 90s.
Mhm.
And he used the pig's heart valves to replace it. I think two of them. I mean, anybody can look the story up, but he,
Wow.
Schwarzenegger?
yeah,
Schwarzenegger?
yeah, because I mean,
Yeah. Oh, he had a heart transplant or something like that, or
yeah,
heart?
the heart valve transplant, not the heart, and it wasn't. It was a pig's heart valve, and so not the heart, the
Mhm.
heart valve. And I mean, I have his book. I had the Encyclopedia of
Oh,
Modern.
from all the steroids he took, all that
Yeah,
steroid.
and that's something that I noticed when I used to read all the muscle books and exercise. And one guy told me, he goes, "Look, man," he goes, "you're exercising too much." He goes,
Yeah.
"These programs are for guys that are taking steroids."
Yeah.
He goes,
Exactly. 8 to 10 reps. Come on.
I remember in the 90s, I
Or
thought,
sets.
yeah, I
Sets.
thought that some of them, took it. And one guy, he was like, listen, man, every single one of them takes steroids. And
That's right.
I was so,
Have you ever seen a natural bodybuilders competition? It's
oh,
totally
yeah,
different.
it's like regular athlete guys. They look like
Yeah.
regular, yeah, athletes. They don't look big at all. For building muscle, it can be okay, but good. Yeah, some of these guys, I mean, it gets to screw your freedoms. Yeah, absolutely. Arnold, he is such a sellout. When he said that, Gene Simmons, he said oh, you're the enemy. Howard Stern, Don Lemon, these are the traitors. These are the
Mhm.
traitors, man. When they said, oh, anybody who turned on you because the TV told them to, they'll do it again.
Yeah.
They'll do it again. They were acting like the unjabbed were the threat to society. I mean, I forgot that doctor's name. She's like an Indian woman or something. Another crook. Just yeah. And now, of course, Fauci and all of them. You now look at them, quiet, just roaches, man, cockroaches. It's like what they did. I mean, people, families were, Arnold's programs were loaded with 10. Yep. Yeah. I remember doing that. I remember doing 10 sets and it
Yeah.
did work, but I see there's better ways to work out. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's definitely better ways. Like calisthenics is much better. It just,
You
yeah,
could do one set to failure. You could do like reps super slow, and you work
that
out.
was the Mike Menser. Mike Menser said that was the real way to work out. He said you don't need. He goes, you need to do 1 to 2 sets to failure, and then you don't work out for like 3 days. He had a
Yeah,
very,
that's what I trained in. It's
yeah,
amazing. You only have to work
yeah.
out once or
I
twice a
forgot
week.
what he called it the HIT program, high intensity training, HIT.
Right.
And
But also like they call it slow cadence or yeah, super slow. Super slow was
yeah,
the
like negative reps too. Like if you hold
yeah.
yourself up to the chin up bar and then slowly lower yourself down, that does a lot more than doing the actual chin ups, they say. You
Right,
get,
because you're slowing it down, so you're not using any momentum or inertia. You're basically using the muscle the entire time, so you never give yourself a break, because your
yeah,
slow twitch muscle fibers um, don't kick in until you burn out all the fast twitch ones. So unless I'm getting it opposite, but basically you have to like burn out all the ones that repair really quickly, and the only way
yeah,
to do that is to do a continual slow rep, and then you burn, then yeah, you
yeah,
reach for
yeah,
failure so much quicker, and it's so much
yeah.
safer for you too.
Oh yeah,
Otherwise, you're
definitely. And
throwing weights around. You're throwing weights around, and you can get hurt
yeah,
yourself. And
lifting weights. I've hurt myself so much lifting weights throughout my
Sure,
life, just doing stupid
sure.
stuff, trying to lift heavy stuff, and then I realized, like, man, I didn't even really
You
need.
were just a teenager. You got to remember, and the society was giving
Yeah,
all this wrong information.
yeah, I was an idiot, and
Yeah.
it's just,
You weren't an idiot. You were a teenager. I
just
mean,
well,
you
even
can't
in my
count it.
20s, I was doing it, and it was just like,
Yeah, but we don't know. I did the same thing. I used to work out like crazy, but we didn't know. You know what
yeah,
I mean? We just didn't know.
yeah. No, you're right. It definitely. White Heat Truth says, I heard there's health people who are offering detoxes. Oh yeah, I've definitely heard detoxes for the jabs. Yeah, the simple things, man. Stimulate, don't annihilate. Absolutely, man. I remember like curling a lot of weight, and the next thing I know, my back would be hurting me, or I'd pull,
Sure.
and I'm like, how? And then I realized it's like all of that stuff is connected, and like, what am I doing all this weight for? I mean, I got weights to sell. I don't even, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think I'm
One of the
gonna.
best exercises the farmers carry. Just grab two dumbbells, really heavy, and just walk around. That's good enough. You know what I mean? You don't have to do all this crazy stuff.
Just walking like
Yeah, with
yeah,
the weights. With the weights.
yeah, like
if you
fence.
look at, there's a lot of vegan bodybuilders. If you actually look, like you don't need to have protein. Like medical medium, there's like a lot of bodybuilders and strength trainers, and people that have been sick, and you can see like they only do glucose and minerals, and they get as big as anybody else. It's not on steroids. You know what I mean?
Hmm. I
I mean,
think
look
one
at
of the guys,
horses. Look at horses.
yeah, Robert Cheeks, he was like a vegan bodybuilder. I remember like back in the early 2000s, MySpace days. I looked up the heavy metal detox, medical medium.
Yeah.
Wild blueberries pulls heavy metals from the brain and deep brain tissue, restoring old cells. Spirulina draws toxins out of the brain, central nervous system, and liver. Barley grass juice powder prepares the metals extracted by spirulina for elimination from the spleen, intestinal tract, and pancreas. Cilantro reaches deep into hard to reach places to bind onto metals stirred up by other ingredients. Atlantic dulse binds to mercury, lead, aluminum, copper, cadmium, and nickel in the gut and carries them out safely. Yeah, I heard it's not good to carry nickels in your pocket too.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's that, you think of the stuff that they just, it's like, oh my
Even
goodness.
pennies like copper and like even like brushed metal and stuff, like you touch like fences and brushed metal, like you like your hands smell like metal and you can't
Yeah.
wash it off. It
Hmm.
absorbs into your skin.
Hmm.
And
So
people get
messed up.
psoriasis and eczema. That's too much copper, and then these certain viruses, certain Epstein-Barr viruses, eat the copper, and then when it poops it out, that's what causes the dermatoxins and all that irritation and itchiness all over a lot of people's bodies. So I mean, he's got all the information, but people actually heal. Like doctors have no answers for cystic acne, psoriasis, or eczema, and those are very visible diseases that people have. But the fact that like there's tons of medical meaning, people like that's what like if you actually look through his stuff, like you'll find out like all these people like incurable diseases. People are like you'll never hear about it. It's only word of mouth. It's not on the news. There hasn't been any documentaries about it, but eventually I'm sure there will be. But he doesn't do things to make money. Like he's been offered television shows where he would be like the star of a program. Like I think he took some free publicity that was given to him. I think because because it's all word of mouth. So for 35 years he's been healing people word of mouth, and rich and celebrities and rich people, like when they hear about somebody that like heals somebody, like because these people go around the world looking for like answers for their diseases, and so he, like, I guess in Hollywood his name was getting around, and so somebody on Entertainment Tonight like invited him to come on, and he was like, he did a couple things. So like, I mean, I think Spirit of Compassion said it was okay for him to do it because it's like it's going to help people hear about the information so that they can heal from all these like horrible things that we're getting sick with. But he never does anything like that again. And like, he's been offered shows, and he's like he doesn't want it to be like the Anthony Williams show, like entertaining people with like spiritual wisdom. He just wants people to get better. So that's why he did all these books. So that's the only thing he sells. He does everything for free. He actually pays YouTube and Apple Podcasts to not do advertising so that sick people can actually just get the information for free. So he's like, he's a really good person. And, but if he makes any money off of selling books, or like, if he endorses like a certain juicer or something, like there's nothing wrong with him, like having money, but like people like, try to vilify him, like, oh, he's just doing this to make money. It's like, you know what I mean? He works all the time. Like he said he's never been on a vacation. I mean, you don't have to believe that because a lot of people lie, but I don't think he's lying because he's just, he's just that kind of person. But yeah, I look forward to, I'll put together something, but yeah, I forgot what I was saying.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I am says incorporating sprinting my routine have given me great results in general health. I also wrecked the Norwegian 4x4 great hour workout, and I'm 21 years, 6'4". Wow, man. Yeah, that's great height, 6'4" too, man. 21.
What's a 4x4 great hour, like an hour workout? What's a 4x4? Oh, what's a Norwegian 4x4
workout? If you want to put it in the chat for, yeah, it's I think it's a four reps by 4 sets.
Oh, okay.
It could be something different though. I'm not, it's a good
right,
question.
That makes sense. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
I might be wrong though, but yeah. White Heat says, when I drove a forklift, another driver flew around the corner and hit mine hard. I swear I tasted metal after the collision. Holy smokes. Yeah, the metal, I mean, it's like what Conscious was saying. I've experienced that several times where I touched certain metals and you can smell it on your hands and it's hard to get off. And that got to go into your skin. It's like, and you can even smell it sometimes. Like, yeah, metal, because they're coating. I looked up, what is a nickel made out of, and even nickel itself is like an alloy with, manganese and, other metals, copper. And yeah, I tell you, man, it's so, when you look at the technical world, it's like, it's just so much stuff that we don't know, and pennies are made out of zinc, right, with a thin copper coating, because the penny isn't if you make a penny out of copper, it costs more than a penny.
Exactly.
It's crazy with the devalue of money. That's insane. That's insane to have, like, okay, so we got to make this what originally should have been a copper. It's like, what the heck is going on? I think I don't know if it was ever pure copper. When were pennies?
Quarters used to be what, in the 50s? They were made of silver. They're actual silver, right?
It was pure silver. You could look on the side. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to mention that if anyone actually went out of their way and got those 5 ingredients, or at least some of them, Vimergy does sell a lot of those things, but the Dulse is expensive because it's a liquid extract. So you can buy Dulse cheap in bulk, whatever. But if you actually do go out of your way to make the heavy metal detox smoothie, it's delicious. But it would be more effective if you actually definitely didn't eat protein or fat until the evening or nighttime. Because as soon as you add fat into your diet, like your body's working like on that smoothie, and it's like going through your body, it's collecting metals, But as soon as you add fat to the mix, like if you could even be like fat free, if you did the heavy metal detox on certain days of the week, and you're like, you know what, I'm not going to have like fish or protein at night. I'm going to eat like a bunch of steamed potatoes and vegetables, and do that. Like you do your body a great service, because then you're not adding the fat, because the fat definitely prevents metals from being removed from your body, because it's got to get rid of the fat.
Oh yeah, Oh yeah. Once the body gets used to it, because it's breaking the addiction, of what we're used to eating, the drug foods. There's a good book called Drugs Masquerading as Foods, and
Mm,
I had gave a copy to Tom, but also I had a copy and somebody stole it from me, man. It's like I've lent books out, and that book, I actually found out about that from the raw food guys, and the lady who wrote it, Suzar, Dr. Suzar Epps, um, she actually brought to light certain things about, like, things that you could miss. She was saying that bottled beer, will have like a solvent to sterilize the bottle, and you're drinking that in the beer. These are the ingredients they don't list. White Heat says, what about carbon 60 and omega fish oil? I heard omega fish oil is good because it has the omega 6, which is,
It's
yeah.
well, I mean, I used to like taking the carbon 60, but all those oils, it's just like adding oils to your body. But omega, I mean, there's a vegan Vimergy
What's
sells
carbon 60?
carbon 60 is the carbon molecule. It's a fullerene. It's I mean, maybe, I mean, I
No,
don't
I
know if we
thought
can
it might have
exactly. I
been
used
like,
to take it. You can look it up. It's a powerful.
yeah, I'm gonna look it up now.
Yeah, I think I forgot exactly, but it's a
Well,
powerful.
you ever take activated charcoal to pull out like
Yeah, and I
it
have
kills the
done that, but
mold,
that
right?
she
And
said
you pulls out the mold.
don't do the charcoal because charcoal will like line your intestines and actually block nutrients from being absorbed into your body. He's like there's people that took charcoal, to like detox. Let's say like they ate some poison and like you have to do it at the hospital to get rid of poisons to save your life. Yeah, go ahead, do it. But if you do, someone takes charcoal for a while to detox their body or whatever and think they're getting metals out, they're not. It literally coats the lining of your intestines. And like medical medium said, there was one woman that she got like she was doing colon hydrotherapy like 20 years after she had done charcoal or whatever for a period of time. She said it was coming out then, like 20 years later, it was
Wow.
like still in her. But as far as the omega 6 oils, I mean, hemp seeds is a really healthy way of getting the omega, the proper omegas or whatever. But there's a vegan DHA, what is it? What is it? DHA LA or whatever. Let me see. What is it called? I don't take it every night, but it's like, this is something that I'm supposed to take every night, but it's EPA DHA. But to get it from seaweed is much healthier. Even though these pills actually smell like fish, but they're from seaweed from the sea. But the actual the fish oils, he goes into it. It's really actually very toxic. The way
Mm.
that they actually get the fish oil extracted from the fish is it's just like basically waste fish. It's like it's like the eyeballs and the tails of like fish and like like
Wow.
and it's like there's so much. He's like the condensed amount of metals that are in those is so dangerous. He's basically says like the way that they purify it out so many times. It's like if you understand what homeopathy is, where it's like the smaller amount that you have in it, it actually like amplifies the
Yeah.
ability
Yeah.
for the energy to like work in your system.
Yeah.
So that's what it's doing. It's like making the poisons like homeopathic strengths. Like it's so strong. It's
Mhm.
really really bad for you. So
Yeah.
just he has a podcast about uh fish oils. I think specifically, you can always Google medical medium and then like fish oils, and then it'll be like a SoundCloud or a podcast that he did about it. But he explains it in detail how dangerous those omega fish oils are, like krill oil, all of them. They're just like it's a really dirty business, and
Yeah. Yeah. I
it's
can
all
see
just about
that.
profits. Yeah,
Wow.
it's very
I
bad.
looked up carbon 60. Buckminster fullerene is a cage-like molecule of 60 carbon atoms arranged in a hollow soccer ball-like shape. So, studied as a potent antioxidant, it's sold in oils like olive oil and as an unregulated supplement, claimed to support longevity, energy through clinical proof in humans, though clinical proof in humans remains scarce. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't medical medium hasn't talked down about it, but I actually I don't think I used to take it. It's in oil, and I think if anyone feels energized, it's because of the oil. because I used to take it. I used to buy all those really expensive bottles of the coconut and avocado
I
C60.
remember buying one of the fish oil years ago. It had to be over 10 years ago. They said there's a really good fish oil company, Nordic Naturals or something. But you're right. It's probably made from all of the waste stuff. Yeah, when you think about it. It is said that charcoal and red clay is a great water filtration method. I've heard that. Yeah, I've definitely heard that.
Yeah,
Um,
it just wouldn't be good to consume them directly. But yeah, maybe as a water filtration, that sounds
yeah, yeah,
good. Yeah, charcoal is good for removing impurities.
yeah. I was looking up the pennies. It said the U.S. pennies were made of pure 100% copper, roughly from 1793 to 1857. So after that, they started. Yeah, when I look at all this stuff, the nickel, because I remember a guy was telling me that years ago. He goes, "Yeah, just carrying them in your pocket, you know." But yeah, man, this is deep. 12:57. Yeah, almost one. Hey, I appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. I got to get up early. Yeah, Mr. X, thank you, man. Conscious
Thank
Rise.
you.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll stream.
Thank you all the info conscious. Thanks again.
Definitely. Yeah, whenever you get time, just leave in a comment or whatever how you want to send it or the email.
Yeah, either comments or like I'll do comments after certain streams you've done, and also like in the live chats or whatever.
Yeah, you post it, yeah, and stuff.
And there's some really good, like there's this one guy who was a professional poker player. He's some Japanese professional poker player. This is when I first started like learning about medical medium. I just watched a couple of these, but this guy had like the kind of eczema or psoriasis that like takes over your entire body, and you're like all puffy and it's like hard to move and stuff. And like it's just like fascinating to see some of these healing stories. Like he doesn't really do too many of those now, like in-depth ones, but they're like interesting to like check out because a lot of the diseases that people have are not visible. They're like in the nervous system or in the brain. But the ones that are like very physically obvious, it's pretty fascinating to watch them heal. You know what I mean? Because nobody else can heal. No doctors can heal eczema, psoriasis, and things like that. So at some point, maybe I'll just get some links together that might be entertaining for people to look at. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Definitely.
Good night. Thank you.
Thanks, friends. Yeah, thank you too, man. Yeah, we'll stream. Tomorrow night, man. We'll talk. You guys take care. Have a good night.
Have a good night.